The wind brings the sea area, and Garp is like a tuna, shuttling flexibly in the waves. He was keenly noticing while swimming at the same time. Someone is walking in the air. From the corner of the eye, this person was a 17 or 18-year-old youth with fluttering blonde hair and a famous knife pinned to his waist, and he was also looking at himself. Whose family's great swordsman? Do not know. As long as Garp is partnering with Sengoku on a mission, he never has a brain, and his mouth is full of perfunctory, "Ah yes yes yes." He even needs Sengoku to remind him what the mission is. Forget the arrest warrant or something the next day. And at the moment when Garp released his knowledgeable color, the knowledge in the sky is passed down. Garp. Who? Kazan. Garp. The two met at the same time. And Shiki here. He was just sitting on the deck waiting for Kazan to return, but he suddenly and keenly noticed that someone was making noise on the slanted sea, so he immediately floated down to check. I saw a warship. Shiki immediately became interested. Because he and Kazan's warship were trapped in the wind belt. It will probably never come out. Seeing another brand new warship at this moment, didn't you send it up for yourself to grab? Restocking. Waiting for the warship to be snatched, Big Brother won't brag about himself? So, Shiki immediately checked with knowledge, and saw a black-haired burly man whom he didn't know standing on the deck, as if he was also looking at himself. Shiki. Who? Sengoku. Shiki, that's all. The duo of pirate swordsman brothers, and the duo of Marine's golden partner. Official first meeting. Now. Kazan was flying high in the sky, so he knew that Garp's purpose was to land on the island. Kazan, though, had no other ideas. Only thought, can Garp be killed here? Yes. His only thought at the moment is to find a chance to kill Garp. It's not that Kazan's hostility is heavy. Rather, as a time traveler, he deeply knew who his future mortal enemy would be from the moment he became a pirate. Garp is only 23 years old now. He is known as the marine hero in later generations. He is invincible with a pair of iron fists. He is the man who chases Roger the One Piece everywhere. There is no doubt that Garp will be the leader of Marine in the future. If he meets a pirate, will he let him go? Little thieves, of course, it doesn't matter. After all, every strong person has grace. And like rocks, Roger, Shiki, Newgate. Kazan can assure you that if Garp has the ability and opportunity, every punch he throws will be aimed at blowing the opponent's head. This is the truth. Similarly, Kazan, as an ambitious pirate, will also try his best to kill him when he meets the main officer of the Marine faction. So, now meeting Garp, Kazan naturally has the idea of killing him. Certainly. This is just Kazan's thinking logic. As for the result, who knows? It can be seen from the swimming momentum that Garp is by no means a good stubble. Among the protagonists of this era, which one is not a top powerhouse? Anyway, just do your best to kill. In order to wait for his opponent, Kazan unconsciously increased his speed by 1 point. And Garp sees Kazan speeding up. I couldn't help thinking in my heart, is it here to grab the baby? How could the young and energetic Garp allow such a thing to happen? He immediately accelerated and rushed out like a rocket. The other side. Shiki had already acted the moment he made the decision to grab the ship. Who is the opponent? He doesn't care. People with lion fruit ability walk on the sea like walking on flat ground and have a natural home court advantage, so Shiki acted decisively, flying low over the sea and heading directly for the warship. Stamp my boat first, and then Lousy will play with you. Shiki's figure was about to reach the hull of the warship. Sengoku's figure suddenly disappeared from the deck, and he had already flashed forward. Shiki, you are underestimating me. It's great to come here. We're looking for you. 1. It can be regarded as a head of business. The Kazan brothers' wanted warrant is in hand, and Marine's intelligence is perfect. Sengoku itself is the resourceful general, likes to research and so on. And this time with the task of killing brother Kazan, Sengoku naturally knows the ability of lion fruit. And when he saw that the target of Shiki's operation was a warship, Sengoku immediately thought of the West Blue Branch tragedy in the intelligence. Make the best decision right now. Stop Shiki from approaching the warship first. Then, take Shiki's head. Buzz buzz. Sengoku's golden body flashed away, dazzling with light. Buddha shock. A shock wave rippled like a stone falling into water. Boom. Damn it. The imposing shock wave hit. Shiki's original purpose was not to fight, but when he saw someone launching a sneak attack, he became so aggressive that his blonde hair exploded immediately. Instantly pulls out Sakura Tokiku and covers armament Haki steadily. Withstand. Boom, clang, two powerful forces collided, and a shock wave burst out instantly. The sea in front of the warship became trembling. The seawater kept jumping up like shaking beans. First confrontation. Shiki was hit and flew backwards. Fortunately, he was not injured. At this moment, Shiki stabilized in the air, and immediately looked at Sengoku with a serious face. Who is this guy? He looks very strong. I was careless. In fact, it has only been 5 or 6 months since Shiki went to sea. Even Wanokuni was his first stop. And this way, because there are too few opportunities to exercise, Kazan has always asked Shiki to learn to be prudent, especially when encountering a strong enemy. He must make a correct judgment and then take action. Enemy. It's Marine. As for Marine, what Kazan asks is, if he feels that the opponent is a threat, on the premise of protecting himself, find ways to kill him with all his strength. No doubt. Some of Kazan's words have become Shiki's life credo. Isn't there a Marine who is threatening himself right now? Present. Moments after Shiki and Sengoku meet for the first time. He will understand. This person will be his own threat. You can only kill as much as possible. Jia ha 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 ha. The sea is finally interesting. After making a decision, Shiki laughed maniacally while holding a pair of knives. Unknowingly. Among the 4 people, 3 of them have already become murderous. The 2 areas are far enough apart, but Sengoku and Shiki's first encounter. The aftermath still came. The 2 brothers have an ability, and there is an impression between the abilities. Kazan also uses the color of knowledge to perceive, knowing that Shiki is facing Sengoku. As the marshal of Marine after Kong, Sengoku must have both intelligence and strength, and must be at the top level. But Shiki is not vegetarian either. The battlefield is in the sea again, and the only place Sengoku can stand is a warship. So Kazan doesn't think Shiki's life will be in danger. On Garp's side, although he was a little unclear about Kazan's sudden arrival before, but Sengoku has already shot from the rear, and the fact is that he is already approaching the enemy. With the addition of Shiki and Kazan's blonde hair, it is too obvious. Brother Kazan. Sengoku. These words that he kept chanting during this time, just floated in Garp's mind, reminding him of his mission, which is to bring back the heads of these 2 people. So this one off the top of my head. What is it called, big brother? What do you call it, brother? It doesn't matter. A nest of thieves, there is a good show to watch next. Garp immediately burst into strength. The speed is like an instant arrow, soaring directly towards the island. The treasure must be snatched in front of the pirates. That's fun. Seeing the change in Garp, Kazan smiled and followed up explosively. The momentum has changed. Does this mean that you have the mentality to fight? The 2 actually played the speed of life and death on the sea. Nearly 800 years have passed. Since the birth of Marie Joyce, the world has become a cake for nobles to divide, and people on various islands have become leeks to be squeezed, and those nobles even think that some untouchables are not even qualified to be leeks. In such an era, in fact, very few people can be truly happy. Oppression, brawls, bloodshed, and killings happen every day. Over time, some people have slowly found their own way to participate. For those who are not qualified to enter the establishment, being a pirate only needs to pick up a knife. Kazan is a time traveler. He has already recognized that he is the mortal enemy of Marine. Call out. Soon, the 2 landed on the island. Haifeng Island is a very flat island. The main body is made of stones, with a layer of dry soil that is not too thick. In addition, the entire island has the attribute of calm belt. Many plants need wind to disperse their seeds, so the place is barren, with no breath of life. There is no wind, climate, ocean currents, even the air is stagnant, thunder, rain, liuyan, nothing. This formed the unique barren geographical conditions. It is the best battlefield. When Garp jumped, he saw a small emerald green sapling, which was the only plant on Gale Island, and on it hung a strange fruit that was almost green to transparent. The distorted patterns extend from the surface of the fruit like teeth and claws, very strange. Garp came to him. This is the devil fruit marked as the biggest disaster in history? But that's it. Seeing this scene, the low-altitude Kazan's eyes brightened instantly. He never expected that there actually exists a devil fruit here. Whatever it is, don't think otherwise. Kazan pulled out the first-generation Onitsu, aimed at Garp's head and shot it out. Boom. Garp, who was about to pick the devil fruit, instantly turned sideways and easily dodged the attack. Looking back, I saw Kazan with a smirk. This kid really came here for this fruit? Ah. Where the 2 are located, Garp is a stone's throw away. Garp didn't think that the kid floating in the sky could snatch the devil fruit away from him. Kill yourself and take the fruit away, dreaming. At this time, the first-generation ghost pierced into the ground obliquely, leaving only the handle of the knife. Perhaps the first-generation ghost was too sharp and did not stir up a trace of dust. And the connection between devil fruit and the tree has been completely cut off by the first generation ghost. And the whole fruit was hanging in place without falling. Bastard, you want to destroy this devil fruit in front of me. Garp's voice hadn't quite fallen yet. Immediately noticing that the devil fruit was in good condition and in a strange levitation state everywhere, he instantly realized that something was wrong, decisively flickered into the air, and the pitch-black armed color instantly covered the entire fist. Ontology. The strong have a keen sense of battle. Garp knows that after the devil fruit is suspended, the opponent has already taken the lead. If you still struggle with this problem, why not kill your opponent with one punch? Boom. A huge sound like a sonic boom exploded in the air instantly, as if to tear the air apart. This is the rhythm of punching Kazan in seconds. But Kazan's knowledge color, with a foreseeing time of ones. And he is making careful plans throughout the whole process. Garp is strong, and he may be more knowledgeable than Kazan, but he is very nervous. This is the first time the two meet, and his calculations are definitely not as good as Kazan. Therefore, Kazan attacked in Garp the moment before has been deployed. Blink. Float. Rise. The whole movement is smooth and flowing. Call out. First generation ghosts and devil fruits all flew into Kazan's hands. This is Kazan imprinting a floating imprint on the first generation onitsu, and then using the object to touch the object at the moment when the knife cuts through the fruit stem. The imprint is transferred to the devil fruit. This ability was discovered after Kazan obtained the first generation onitsu. Kazan speculates that the famous sword may have the role of acting as the master's body, or the combination of man and knife. In this case, use the prediction of 1 second to plan the position that needs to float early. Just like catching the ball in motion, running ahead of time, waiting for the ball to come. Catch it. You're done. Certainly. Judging from Garp's vigorous actions just now, and the fact that he used armed weapons to attack the body without any nonsense, Garp's execution ability and combat sense are excellent. But when people meet for the first time, there will always be a little slack. According to Garp, the blonde boy in front of him who didn't even know he was the big brother, his younger brother, no matter how powerful he was no match for him. But what he didn't expect was that this guy could snatch the fruit from a high altitude. How did he do it? Simply incredible. Sure enough, the importance of intelligence is self-evident. Sengoku chose to be tough and didn't let Shiki get close to the warship. On Garp's side, when he saw the first generation ghost bursting at him, he chose to duck his head. Garp is still careless. By now, the two camps clashed for the first time, and each gained a slight advantage. But even if Kazan didn't touch a hair of Garp, he really won. After leaving enough distance, Kazan glanced at first generation Goosh. Even if it entered the dirt, it was as clean and magical as ever. Then I looked at the devil fruit I just got. The shape of the fruit is very beautiful. Uzumaki patterns are everywhere on the peel. The distribution is patchwork and the proportions are coordinated. It is really like a work of art. The appearance of devil fruit determines most of its abilities. So, what ability will it be? At this time, the voice of the system sounded in Kazan's mind. Ding. It is detected that the host is in contact with the secret treasure of the sea, Logia Fengfeng fruit, experience value plus 5 million. Congratulations to host for getting fortune point plus 1, reached full value. Trigger lucky critical strike, congratulations to host for getting entry fusion card X1. Fortune value cleared. Jihahahaha, your name is Sengoku, right? Take my trick. Don't die so quickly. Shiki's laughter fell from the sky. Roar. Double-edged. Nail. Accompanied by a violent roar, Shiki held 2 knives and spun extremely fast, like a goshawk preying on prey, falling from high altitude at high speed, and the target was Sengoku on the warship. Bastard, who do you think you are? Sengoku stood on the warship with his horse straddled, and when Shiki's figure arrived, he covered his arms with his big hand and went out to meet him. There was a huge collision between the palm and the 2 knives. Ding, hum. Both sides broke out with a strong momentum, and no one obeyed the other. At this time, the entire warship was subjected to a huge impact, like a float bitten by a fish. They are actually drilling into the sea. Clatter. If it weren't for the buoyancy of the sea, the warship might have sunk to the bottom of the sea. The marine soldiers on the deck staggered back and forth. Sengoku yelled angrily, Shiki, have you done enough? Sengoku exploded with a powerful palm, knocking Shiki back directly. In a blink of an eye, Shiki floated to the surface of the sea again. The two fought several rounds. Shiki has high evasion and high agility, but not enough attack power. Sengoku is relatively bulky, but has full defense and damage. Unfortunately, it can't hit the cunning Shiki. After a fight, no one actually took advantage. Instead, Shiki is sure that Sengoku will protect the warship that is based on it. When the move was made, it was unscrupulously sabotaging. This random attack made Sengoku very passive-defensive, as uncomfortable as if he had eaten a caddy of flies. By fighting, the two sides also tested the strength of their opponents. In terms of strength, Sengoku is definitely better. On the right battlefield, Sengoku must win the decisive battle between you and me. After all, Sengoku is now 26 years old, and he is in the fastest rising period, far closer to his peak than Shiki, a fledgling young man. Gee ha 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 ha. Sengoku, you are indeed a strong man. Tisk tisk, I've had enough trouble. So, you die in despair. Gee ha 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 ha. In the sky, Shiki laughed loudly. He knew that it would be difficult for him to defeat Sengoku at this stage. Facing such an enemy, if it wasn't for the naval battle, he might be injured. It's not worth the loss if you keep fighting. It is now impossible to seize the warship. Of course it is destruction. Shiki's eyes suddenly opened angrily, his aura burst out, his blonde hair fluttered, and he was hunting. Lion Majesty Sea Roll. Let's all die under the sea, Marine. Boom lala. The sea suddenly surged, and the seawater shot directly into the sky. Between twists and turns, it turned into two roaring lions. The lions opened their bloody mouths, riding the tsunami, and galloped towards the warship. This is the battle on the cliff at Wano-kuni. Kazan gave Shiki the inspiration. That night, Shiki stalked and asked Kazan to explain to him dozens of times, skills. And in the last few days of Wano-kuni, Shiki practiced frantically on the reef. Now this trick has been quite effective. And name it, Lion Majesty Sea Roll. At this time, Marine on the warship saw two lions roaring towards them. Immediately, he crawled in fright, with a terrified expression, and did not dare to open his eyes. But Sengoku didn't panic in the face of the two giant lions. He is the demonic ability of phantom beasts. If you want to defeat the phantom beast, you must first be tougher than him. Sengoku raised one hand and shouted loudly, "Bastard! Do you think this kind of pediatrics can deal with me?" In a blink of an eye, Sengoku's golden light flooded his body and turned into a dazzling huge golden Buddha. Sengoku, as the zone, human fruit, phantasmal beast, and Buddha form ability user of destiny, is an ultimate human being who reigns supreme in the world and has both mind, body, and skills. Moreover, the fruit ability has long been awakened. The huge gold palm was instantly wrapped in a ball of light, expanding rapidly. Then, it was released in seconds, bright slaying evil formation. Shiki's eyes couldn't help but widen. Damn it, it turns out that he is also a capable person. It's no wonder that the palm winds released are all glittering with golden light. Boom. The waves rippling, and directly turned into a giant airwave covering the warship. Wow. Two male lions galloped up, about to bite the golden light giant Buddha madly, and when Sengoku raised his hand, the golden light filled the sky, the two huge energies collided, and the breath exploded violently. It was as if an earthquake had occurred on the warship, causing people to fly into the air uncontrollably. The apocalyptic scene made many timid Marines howl all over the place. Rumble. At this moment, the entire sea area was shrouded in white light, and those Marine soldiers only felt that their eyes were blank, and they only felt that their faces were being crazily beaten by the heavy rain. Slowly, the scene subsided. Shiki also realized that even if it was a naval battle today, he couldn't do anything about Sengoku. Waving his hand. Forget it, it's boring. On the warship, Sengoku saw that Shiki didn't intend to do anything, so he also changed back to human form. In his heart, he was also formally afraid of Shiki's strength. Originally, he thought that he was just an 18-year-old thief who ate devil fruit. It was just that the valuation was too high, so he didn't take it seriously, and he could kill it casually. But now it seems that the bounty is less. Shiki's lion fruit, developed by him to be a bit tough to deal with. Maybe not enough intensity, but the potential is huge, and it's tricky enough. Shiki will definitely become Marine's confidant in the future. There is no doubt about it. When encountering this type of pirate, you must plan in advance, otherwise it will still grow and become uncontrollable in the end. Think about it. Sengoku didn't say anything more either. On the other hand, Garp went to the island, and the fighting conditions are much better. I should be able to win the big brother. When Garp comes back, maybe there is still a chance. Looking away from Shiki, Sengoku couldn't help but look towards the island. On the other side, Kazan is now higher in the air. Standing on the island, Garp's face became more and more gloomy. He could actually flash to the sky, but Kazan didn't give him a chance to get close. In other words, his performance is to tell you that he didn't come to fight at all. Increase the distance again and again. From tens of meters to hundreds of meters, now it is even more insignificant to kilometers. Almost invisible to the naked eye. Look at that cowardly look, his head is almost piercing the sky. In the face of such rogues, Garp was pissed off. At this time, Kazan has no other thoughts. He was just basking in joy. Never thought of it. I actually met Logia Fangfeng fruit here, but... Kazan suppressed the surprise forcibly and pondered seriously. No wonder this island is so special, surrounded by wind belts of the law system, all because of the powerful Logia devil fruit on the island. Does the location where the Logia fruit exists also affect the environment? As for the wind element, Kazan understands it too deeply. Since the first warship was raised by the power of floating, Kazan has been fighting wits and bravery with Hefeng. His ships are all propelled by the wind, and he worries about which way the wind blows every day. The last time he entered Calm Belt for 5 months, he thoroughly felt the importance of wind. In Calm Belt, there are no clouds, no ocean currents, no thunder, no rain, and the seawater is like a mirror, without waves, just like death. All because there is no wind to mobilize, neutralize, and change within. Wind energy affects so many things, and 99% of the area of Pirate World is the sea. If there is no wind in the sea, all sailboats will not be able to move, all climates will no longer be coordinated, and the environment will reverse. No one can adapt. In other words, controlling the wind is equivalent to controlling all of the sea. And in the original book, the 3 biggest disaster fruits were allocated to the 3 major forces. Marine, Akainu's volcano erupts. Pirates, Whitebeard's earthquake strikes. Song Mingjun, the hurricane passes through. It is enough to see what kind of status these 3 devil fruits occupy in the pirate world. However, the most likely to control the hurricane in the Gemming army can only be the man who is so mysterious to ultimate, the man with his own wind on the stage, the most ferocious criminal in history, Monkey D. Drago. Meeting Garp here, it's a cutoff of Dorag. Kazan took a deep breath, completely calm. Now that you have the Fangfeng fruit, you must keep it for yourself. Kazan quickly checked the reward. Fortune value, 0, cleared. Fortune crit. Get entry fusion card. Entry fusion card. After using it, you can combine 2 entries of the same category into one, and the attribute items in the entry will take the highest LV level at the same time. The upgrade of double entries will not only consume 1 experience point. Devil Fruit Mosaic Frame. Wanokuni has the opportunity to get a prize. It is detected that the host has Logia Fangfeng fruit. Is it mosaic? Do you want to combine Lion Fruit and Fangfeng fruit into one? See these 2 items for rewards. Kazan made a decisive move. Throw the Fangfeng fruit directly into the inlay frame, and combine the Lion Fruit entry Hefeng Fang fruit entry into one. Ding. Congratulations to host. Fangfeng fruit plus LV 53. Boom. As the system broadcasts. In an instant, Kazan's body had a messy blast rushing wildly. The whole body became a little uncontrollable. This is. When they ate lion fruit for the first time, Kazan and Shiki were floating in the sky uncontrollably, unable to find a way to get down to the ground. He knew that when he first got devil fruit, he would feel uncomfortable. And this time it's Logia's disaster. The uncontrollable feeling seems even more violent. Feel Kazan with a different body. Can't help but check. Now. Kazan clearly saw that his arms, skin, and bones were slowly turning into nothingness and transparency. Flesh and blood were lost, replaced by small green wind snakes in the shape of swimming dragons, swimming in the empty human body. Then, Kazan quickly sensed that the wind within 100 miles of Fang Yuan began to howl, meander, and restlessly. It seems that these green little wind serpents are communicating all of them. And they all seem to be coming? What the hell is Logia? Hiss, Kazan's body began to spin out of control. Suddenly, a bad feeling rose in my heart, at the same time. Garp on Windy Isle. On the distant sea, Sengoku and Shiki have ceased fighting. The instinct of the strong. Let them feel an unknown atmosphere. They frowned, looked left and right, and even their heartbeats accelerated uneasily. At this moment, Kazan's body suddenly burst out with an invisible energy. Just like radio waves, it radiates in all directions. After a few minutes. Silence. Really the whole sea is silent. For a split second, everyone felt as if they had entered a realm of silence. Shiki is a fluttering ability user. Very sensitive to the ups and downs of the body. As if something was lost suddenly, he felt that the whole world suddenly became a little strange. Shiki turned his body 180 degrees in a circle. Look around. All the sea surface as far as the eye can see is a piece of blue, which has lost its sparkle. Isn't my warship sailing automatically in the circular wind belt? Why did it stop? Shiki raised his head and glanced at the sky warship, which was at a standstill at the moment. The wind belt that the two brothers tried their best to escape before seemed to have stopped, and a drop of cold sweat fell from Shiki's forehead. What the hell happened? I'm not really in comm belt. Shiki looked at Sengoku at his feet. The guy is standing on the deck like a wooden man now. Sengoku is actually numb. Stepping on the deck of a warship feels like standing in Marineford Square. But it's a boat. As long as you are sailing, the boat under your feet will never stop sinking and sinking. Because the sea that carries the ship is never static and fluctuating. This is true even for warships moored in the port of Marineford. You tell me now? Like muscle memory engraved in genes, suddenly gone. This experience. It's like a human being who is suddenly separated from his senses by God. Certainly. Sengoku also saw changes in the sea surface. Just got into a fight. Isn't that kid in the air still floating in the air in the daze? Why did you cross over to comm belt as soon as the truce? Sengoku frowned, his heart twisted into tens of thousands of twists. But just when everyone was not used to the feeling of silence, the sky above their heads suddenly changed again. Visible to the naked eye, the farthest end of the sky. Black cloud, white cloud, and gray cloud are mixed together at this moment. It surges like a quilt. And it is in all directions, 360 degrees without dead ends, covering it layer by layer like an avalanche. This visual sense. It's like looking up at the sky, only to find that the whole sky is slowly closing its eyes. It is also mixed with the violent thunder and lightning with tens of thousands of skills. There are also scenes like waterfalls, rainstorm curtains. This is not what it is to create panic in the world. And when everyone was confused, suddenly, twisting white ropes popped out of the clouds and the sea. In a short time, the world has been densely connected. 1, 2, 10. They are all the people of the sea. How could they not understand? It is a waterspout twisting wildly like a giant dragon. They are also coming from all directions, and the number is even tens of thousands. At this moment, it feels like the whole world is revolving around the waterspout. Play it. What a mess. What a mess. This kind of posture, people will never see it in their lives. Shiki. Fake. Did I see a ghost? Sengoku. My eyes are dry and I'm hallucinating? Garp. No, I'm on vacation. Why are you showing me this? Kazan. Everyone watched helplessly. The things that they didn't believe in before gradually grew bigger, and everyone realized that those things were approaching and attacking them gradually, no, quickly, like an army marching. If it really arrived, no one would be able to live alone. Quack, quack, quack. Woo! The flocks of seagulls above their heads had their feathers blown off their wings, and their cries were even more hissing. The scalp of the person below is numb. Goosebumps all off the deck. Yes, even animals with low intelligence are screaming frantically. Not to mention human beings with all kinds of high-end emotions. Soon, the voice followed, howling, tearing, howling. Seeing the doomsday scene in the distance, Shiki felt goosebumps in his heart. No matter who he loves, I only want my brother, and he flew directly to the island where Kazan was. And Sengoku, all the marine soldiers, watched the flying Shiki. There was a hint of envy in his eyes. There are islands. No matter what, it is better than a broken warship. Sengoku swears that he has never seen such a world in his life, but he still ordered in a hurried tone, quick, 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 everyone jump off the boat, swim all over, go to Garp Rear Admiral. After giving the order, Sengoku used Moonwalk to discuss with Garp. That Garp guy is not serious at ordinary times. At critical moments, I beg you to be reliable. It has to be said that marine elites swim really fast. Soon, the originally silent sea was full of splashes. Gale Island. Above the sky. Shiki looked nervous and couldn't control his tone, and said loudly, "Brother, what should we do?" Kazan. Shiki, your brother, can't speak. Shiki tilted his head, a little confused. Seeing the big brother who has always been calm, the big brother who can come up with brilliant ideas at any time. At this moment, without blinking an eye, like looking at a lever, looking deeply into the distance. So dumbfounded. Shiki was even more anxious. He speaks louder. Brother, talk quickly. How about we fly directly into the sky? How about we fly 10,000 meters? How about 20,000 meters? For us Piao people, 30,000 meters is nothing at all. Kazan. Shiki, you are such a clever little ghost, really. And at the feet of the two brothers, Garp and Sengoku who just arrived. Hear Shiki's words. Although impolite, but to be honest, they are really envious. After all, natural disasters on the sea may not really extend that high. That height. Those of us who can't fly can't step on moonwalk even if we step on a broken leg. Now, there are also 10,000 alpacas rushing past Kazan's heart. His body has returned to normal at this moment, and he is no longer a wind element. There was a gust of wind rushing through his body, even in his throat. Like 10,000 imps howling. Eating a Logia Fengfeng fruit, the psychological pressure is so great. Kazan couldn't move at all either. Why is this F*King Logia so over the top? And Kazan clearly sensed it. At this moment, I have turned into a wind coordinate. Everything in front of him was aimed at him. Soon, hurrah, the first ray of wind has arrived at Gale Island. The loess, which had been dry for hundreds of years, began to disintegrate in an instant, and the island was filled with dust and a loess sandstorm blew up. The sky above. The dark clouds had completely covered the entire sky like a pot lid, and the sky at noon was as dark as night fell. The sea in front of you. Mixed with the sound of tearing wind, the strong wind continued to rage, and the waves became higher and higher. After being torn by the wind, the waves became as sharp as knives. After chopping each other, the water mist exploded. There are also mountain thunders constantly falling from high altitude. The surface of the sea exploded immediately after being struck by lightning, and in the depths of the sea, the whole piece of the sea emitted a blue light of thunder. Against the background of the thunder, there were hundreds of millions of raindrops, and the dots were pale, just like a blizzard. As for the most terrifying waterspouts, driven by the wind, they twisted and twisted into unbelievable arcs like giant dragons. A few or more than a dozen of them merged and became thicker and thicker. Tens of meters, dozens of meters, hundreds of meters. In the tornado, people can even hear the roar of the terrifying creature. This. Not only is it happening right in front of your eyes. What's even more frightening is that it is surrounded by 180-degree compression in all directions. The circle is getting smaller and smaller, and the horror has come to the side impressively. This moment. Everyone's heart has reached their throats. Sengoku strode forward. Only by turning into a golden light giant Buddha can he barely stand firm. Hiss. Garp. This is the end of us. Garp, the madman of East Blue, with a solemn face. It's too scary. It doesn't seem real. No one has ever seen such a doomsday scene, at this moment. 3 Marines are swept up by the storm. Ah. With a half scream, it disappeared directly into the rainstorm-ravaged sky. Everyone realizes. The next second, the next one is yourself. However, it is different from the Marine under your feet. Shiki was pleasantly surprised to find out. Staying with Kazan, it's okay. There was a protective cover around it, and there was no wind at all. The violent storm in front of me, the scene of doomsday. Why? Turned into watching a movie, brother. Shiki realized that the storm might be the cause of Kazan. Kazan winked at Shiki, a small smile played on his lips. I checked my eyes, you are my brother Shiki. Kazan had adapted to recover a little by now. More importantly, in this process, he understood the ability of Fengfeng fruit. To sum it up is, just 3 o'clock. Elementalization. Ability users can create wind and turn it into wind. The body is wind. They can use wind form to avoid damage, use wind form to fly and stay in the air, and can use wind form to move. It is worth mentioning that the wind shape moves. Different from sparkling fruit, which moves to a designated position with a ray, it is also different from thunder fruit, which uses electrons to condense the body at a designated position. The wind fruit is transformed into a wind, flying to the destination in every pervasive way. Speed, route, and distance all depend on the ability user's strength. The movement process is completely controlled by the capable user, and can be cancelled at any time. Wind control. The ability person can release the wind element, and can also mobilize the wind element that exists naturally in the surroundings, command the blowing attack, command the creation of wind pressure attack, command the blowing of other objects to attack, and can also control other elements in the surrounding environment, mix them together and let them produce new natural changes. After feeling the ability to control the wind, Kazan's eyes lit up. Especially the combination of natural elements. In fact, Fengfeng people can't create other natural climates, but they can use wind to transport other natural elements and let them react naturally. For example, a few pieces of dark clouds that do not have the ability to strike lightning are blended together to create the conditions for lightning strikes. Because enough energy is accumulated, the thunder will fall automatically. Therefore, the ability user can let the lightning strike the designated position by predicting in advance. It depends on the creativity of the ability user. Kazan nodded secretly, and couldn't help admiring in his heart. This ability to control the wind is too strong. Function. The ability user is passively followed by a wisp of wind, which can be mobilized to act at any time without consuming any physical strength. The size and shape depend on the strength of the ability user. Kazan secretly said. Is this the reason why Drago comes with his own style every time he appears? After figuring out his abilities, Kazan began to look forward to his body fully returning to action. And at this time, natural disasters have come close. Garp Sengoku below was visibly stunned. But when I thought about it, didn't Garp go to the island to find the most disastrous fruit in history? Wouldn't it be because of Garp that the sky would change? The golden Buddha steadied himself and made himself stand still. Garp, where's the devil fruit? Perhaps it is because Kazan is an ability user instinctively. Garp didn't think about the devil fruit before, but now he heard Sengoku mention it, and realized that the situation was wrong. I was snatched by that kid before I got it. Could it be? Impossible. Nima. You can't even keep a devil fruit. Garp, you trash. Sengoku was shocked. The Buddha form can be said to be Sengoku's accompanying fruit, which has been by his side since birth. So pay attention to all kinds of information about devil fruit. He knew that someone was an alien with a special constitution, who could have two devil fruits at the same time. Sengoku had already been shocked by the fact that the two brothers had the same ability. I think it is another kind of alien. Now hear Garp say that. Sengoku thinks that Kazan still seems to be an alien among aliens. Moreover, when eating a powerful devil fruit, there will often be scenes of uncontrollable rampage. Sengoku heard from his parents that after eating devil fruit when he was a baby, his crotch shone golden for a whole month. During that month, there was no need to turn on the lights at night at home, and even hundreds of men and women in the whole village came to play. Worshipped. Pinching the middle fingernail with the thumb, bouncing and bouncing, has even become a specific gesture for the whole village to greet Sengoku. Thinking of this, Sengoku blushed. Well, judging from the current situation, the strongest disaster fruit in history is the ability to control the storm. Linked up. That monster has acquired this ability. In the face of natural disasters, everyone instinctively wanted to survive before. I have forgotten that it is a battlefield between marines and pirates. Now Sengoku wakes up immediately. Quick, Garp. Let's work together to kill that kid's body. The worst devil fruit in history has been eaten by him. Kazan is a threat to our lives. Watching the Kazan brothers floating quietly in the sky. Garp wanted to cry but had no tears. I also found out the reason why he has been avoiding battles. After all, the two of them acted decisively. Sengoku in Buddha form immediately covered the shockwave, and Garp fist flowed armament hockey. But the environment at this moment is like the end of the world, and it is very difficult to move. In front, Sengoku's warship and Kazan's warship were swept up by the strong wind, and the two warships collided and smashed in the air. Wooden planks, iron pieces, and artillery all moved towards Gale Island. Boom, great Buddha light palm, iron fist. In the face of the huge wreckage of the warship, Sengoku Garp shot at the same time. At this time, the real power of the storm had arrived on the island, and the sea tornado gathered into a giant dragon. Accompanied by the violent storm, in the previous circular wind belt, it spun clockwise crazily around Gale Island. The entire island was raging with strong winds, tearing people apart alive. Countless marine soldiers were torn apart by the wind and dismembered. The gust of wind distorted and hit the island in an instant. Whether it was Sengoku standing on the ground or Garp who was as stable as an old dog, facing such a natural force, they could no longer bear it at this moment. The golden skin of the Sengoku phantom beast. Garp armed color-covered skin. At this moment, it is as if there are thousands of small knives cutting. The crackling sound of glass-like knives buzzed in the heads of the two of them. In just an instant, the two of them completely lost control of their bodies and their feet left the ground. Above the sky, a huge gold figure glowing with Buddha's light, and a strong all-black figure wearing only underpants. The figures of the two scurry around the island at high speed in the sky. The next moment, Garp, Sengoku, was violently thrown into the sea by the storm. Boom, boom, two huge waves exploded on the sea surface at the same time. In this regard, Sengoku Garp's naval headquarters 7372 for the mission, intercept and kill Kazan brothers. Total. 93 marine soldiers, 2 marine rear admiral. In just 1 second, they all sank to the bottom of the sea. The storm came and blotted out the sky. Even if it doesn't cause physical damage, it will cause psychological impact. Shiki hugged Kazan's thigh. Shivering. A person who is a pirate may face a storm in the sea at any time. But a storm of this magnitude is completely beyond imagination. Like a guy playing with firecrackers thinking explosions are nothing more than that. As a result, in the blink of an eye, there was a nuclear explosion in front of Stud. This cognitive dimensionality reduction blow is huge. And Kazan is the center of the whole storm, and all the horrors are directed at him. Shiki is beside Kazan, completely experiencing the first scene personally. In this case, he is already awesome without being scared to pee. Kazan is the man of wind, the lord of all winds. There's no way the wind could hurt him. At this time, Kazan's body is like a bottomless wind tunnel, absorbing the wind from all directions. An hour passed. The terror ceased and the sky cleared. Shiki landed on the island with lingering fear, and stepped on the solid ground again. He felt a little unaccustomed to it, and his legs were uncontrollably weak. It seemed that he was really frightened. Kazan turned into an invisible wind, brushing. In front of Shiki, a small whirlwind gathered and became Kazan's body. But at this time, there was a light green, almost transparent shape-shifting wind dragon wrapped around his arm. The wind dragon seemed to be intelligent, circling around Kazan's arm. Then go around to the back, and go around the knife first-generation Goosh. Even got into Kazan's body. Eventually it was back on Kazan's left arm, dozing off with a vivid expression on his face. This wind dragon is the passive skill of Fangfeng fruit. It is so small because it is compressed in size, and it is released as a gust of wind. This scene directly shocked Shiki. Appears without a trace. This little wind dragon. What ability? Is it a new ability developed by my brother? When did my lion fruit become so awesome? Shiki was full of doubts, and just about to ask a question, he was interrupted by Kazan's words. Look, the island under your feet has undergone tremendous changes. I see. All the soil on Haifeng Island has been swept away by the strong wind at this moment. The place where the two brothers set foot was a huge boulder cut by a knife. The boulder was gray and white. It was a perfect circle with a visual diameter of 500 meters. The island became a plain, and the two were like standing on the top of a golden cudgel. Even more different. In the center of the island, there is a 5 by 5 meter square black boulder. The boulder is flat, with weird characters carved on all four sides. Kazan looked surprised. This kind of stone, regardless of shape or appearance. He is very familiar. Like the historical texts that distribute the Grand Line. There are two kinds of historical texts in the original work, the information text of the general boulder color. And, red signpost history text, as this black's historical text. But the text seems to be wrong. Kazan had seen the ancient writing in Ohara, and the writing was square and square, while the writing carved on the black boulder in front of him was slightly distorted. Moreover, Kazan also keenly noticed that before the island had soil, above the position of the black stone, was the position of the plant that grew the wind fruit. If the text of history is to record history, so what is recorded on it? What text again? Suddenly, many puzzles appeared in my mind. Kazan was also a little confused. Shiki took a step forward, looked at the words on it, and saw the exquisite craftsmanship of this stone, so he became interested, touched it with both hands, and said, "Brother, what is this?" Kazan really didn't understand. "I don't know." Shiki. "Why can't it float?" Does this rock lion fruit not float?" "Gray stone islands, black stones, it's a completely different material. Can rootless things float? Circumvented lion fruit's rules abilities? I don't know if the historical text will be like this. Kazan plans to meet again in the future and try again. Now that I have encountered it, I don't know what it is. Just put it into the space directly. Call out. Kazan texted Black, "Go find Sengoku and Garp." The two were swept out to sea by the storm, and Kazan still felt a little unreliable, but the two wandered on the surface for an hour. Time passed, but no one was seen. "Brother, I didn't see anyone." Kazan took a look at the surrounding environment, and the area around the island is now consistent with the normal sea area. So I flew away with Shiki, a gale island. More than a dozen warships floated around the island. Marine Admiral Kong led the team to come here in person. Facing the island that was damaged by the storm on the way, the trees were uprooted and all were bare. He was terrified. The storm destroyed almost everything in Fangyuan Bailey. Boo boo boo. Boo boo boo. Faced with the phone buzzing on his shoulder, Kong didn't choose to answer it. He came to the level ground and looked at Garp in his shorts. "What happened?" Garp said helplessly. "We encountered a storm, and we were all swept into the sea by the storm. I went to look for Sengoku as soon as I fell into the water, but I searched for 2 hours on the bottom of the sea, but there was no trace." Yes, it was photographed into the sea by a storm. Garp found that the further he dived into the bottom of the sea, the smaller the impact of the storm, so he decisively took shelter at the bottom of the sea, but his colleague Sengoku was a landlubber, so he took advantage of this time to search. "What about brothers Kazan and Shiki?" Garp scratched his head. Although I haven't fought against them, they are very strong. One of them is already a dual ability user, and he also controls Logia's storm. Didn't fight? What are you doing to eat? Dual abilities? Kong couldn't help feeling extremely vigilant. But objectively, he is very clear about the strength of Sengoku and Garp. Garp. A born armament hockey awakener. This alone is enough to make Garp more than 10 years ahead of others, not to mention that Garp also has various powerful monster talents, so this kind of natural genius has become one of the recruits of the Marine generation. One of the most powerful beings. Even, in some respects, it's so powerful that even Kong can't beat it. What about Sengoku? The natural demon fruit power is still the rarest phantom beast species, the human fruit, the Buddha form, and belongs to the level of mythology. Its own talent is balanced, and all aspects are pulled to the limit. It is also more than 10 years ahead of others. Let Sengoku accumulate, it is enough to stand out from the crowd and dominate the capital of the world. And under such a configuration, it ended up with a capture failure. Those two brothers, how troublesome are they? Originally thought that 300 million bounties were high enough. Unexpectedly, it turned out that it was my own thinking that was too simple. How can someone who can make even Marie Joyce furious be so simple? Blue, 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 blue. Listening to the phone bug in his ear, Kong couldn't help but frown and look towards the sea. At this time, near Blast Island, the marine warship kept jumping into the sea. Seabed. A gold Buddha sits on the seabed with folded hands. Between Sengoku's clasped palms, a phone bug kept sending signals. Boo boo boo. In the past practice, Sengoku found that if he had to sit still and enter the immobile self, a thin layer of Buddha's light would be emitted around his body. The Buddha's light would not invade the wind and rain, and isolate the air and sound. It is tantamount to allowing those with great Buddha ability to enter a self-enclosed, practice space. This is a cultivation method that consumes spiritual power and raises the spiritual level. Great Tathagata entered Golden Body. That day, after learning that he was going to fall into the sea, Sengoku immediately entered the Golden Body state in the midair tumbling, set up the phone bug, and kept calling Kong. The rest is completely up to fate. But this kind of Golden Body is not invincible, it can only isolate the inside and outside. In other words, if a shark appeared on the bottom of the sea at this time, it might kill Sengoku. Blue, 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 blue. The dialing sound of the phone bug kept passing back and forth in the ear, like the vibration of the Buddha's voice. It's like setting an alarm clock that repeats itself, repeating, remind to wake up. It's so noisy. Don't call me. My settings are wrong, please, please don't dial. 7 days. I'm going to die from internal consumption. Soon, a diving figure appeared in front of Sengoku. Fight. Sengoku Rear Admiral, found it. When the Golden Buddha was salvaged, a Sengoku with black eye circles, sunken cheeks, and a whole circle of thinness appeared in front of Kong and Garp, purring and oscillating back and forth on the island of wind. Go get some food. Kong ordered to his subordinates. Shout out to Sengoku who eats like crazy. Kong. Say it, I want to hear everything. In Sengoku, he explained in detail the battle with Shiki, and everything that happened after Calamity appeared and landed on the island. Kong frowned deeply. Shiki's tricky ability to stay in the air, super high combat IQ, and an unfathomable Kazan, Paramecia, Logia, double fruit ability user who has never fought against each other. The reward order that was just issued, do you want to modify it again? This day, a green wind dragon is flying in the air. Inside the wind dragon, Kazan sits cross-legged on first-generation Onitsu, leisurely reading the books bought by Wanokuni. Ding. You have read Wanokuni Royal Girl Picture, experience value plus 9999. Ding. You have read Wanokuni Precious Sword Record, experience value plus 9999. Shiki is standing on Muku, holding Sakura 10 in one hand to practice swordsmanship. This is Kazan using the lion fruit to levitate the weapons of the two brothers, as a temporary foothold in the air, and then use himself as a sail, blowing with the wind fruit, so that the two brothers can turn themselves into a boat. Because this is the passive of Fangfeng fruit, there is no need to consume physical strength in the whole process. Lion fruit cooperates with Fangfeng fruit to make the sky a place of enjoyment for the two brothers. At this time, a newsbird cocked its head and flew past the two of them. Quack quack, newsbird, guest, would you like a newspaper? Seeing this, Shiki stopped practicing and leapt over. It's a robbery, silly bird, bring it to you. Croak Gua, newsbird, golden retriever, even 50 Baileys can't afford it, what's going on? And when new bounties are scattered all over the place. The Grand Line really took off. System, Evenly distribute experience points to each entry. Ding. To join, please check. Host. Kazan Swordsmanship. LV-76 Constitution. LV-76. Observation Hockey. LV-55 Branch 1. Foreseeing the future. Armament Hockey. LV-55 Branch 1. Flow Conquerors Hockey. LV-55. Lion Fruit Wind Fruit. LV-55 Fortune. 0 Portable Space. Books, Black Boulder, Fresh Water, Food. Experience Value. 0. Kazan nods to check. According to what Shiki said, there is no chance of winning against Sengoku on a battlefield like a warship. If you switch to flat ground, you can only lose. It seems that the strong in the sea are not so easy to deal with. Upgrading is a long way to go. Experience needs more and more. Moreover, Kazan noticed the mysterious black text in the portable space. Can't help but think for a while. There is no doubt that the wind fruit is very strong. But the world-destroying storm was not led by Kazan alone. He didn't even do anything, but just inadvertently played the role of pressing the switch. That storm can only be regarded as a preview in advance. Instead, the fengfeng fruit grows on the black body, giving birth to a strange geographical environment. This point. Let Kazan always feel that things are a little strange. That island is special. It is very special when the fengfeng fruit is still there. Fortunately, I got the text of black, and I can study it at any time in the future. And Shiki is back after robbing the newsbird. Said on the side, brother, our reward has come down, and there are 2 rewards. 2 copies. Kazan quickly realized that on the Wanokuni cliff, he had snatched the first-generation goosh under the surveillance of the 5 elders, and last time he snatched the fengfeng fruit in front of Marine Garp. Information is gradually exposed to Marine. 2 bounties. It's normal. The first one is, my 320 million berry. The release date is 3.1. Your is, 340 million berry, Shiki said calmly. Kazan couldn't help but laugh. It is estimated that the 5 elders have been scolded by Shiki to be autistic. A few words from Shiki are worth 300 million berry. The second is, my 520 million berry. The release date is 3.24. Brother, yours is 740 million berry. Is this how business is done? 2 rewards are bundled for sale. Damn it. Those people are really despicable, Shiki yelled. For the bounty, the 2 brothers are actually indifferent. It's just an interlude in the journey. Sitting on the first-generation Onaitoru, Kazan turned his head and said, Shiki, it's time we got a ship of our own. Oh. Shiki's eyes lit up. At the same time. An island in the New World. A man with an afro head holds a newspaper and 2 reward orders in his hand. Ha 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 ha. Throwing away the newspaper casually, the man couldn't help laughing wildly. There has been no news for 5 years. Lousy thought you were gone. Imps from West Blue. Your bounty is both bloody and beautiful. It will undoubtedly be a catalyst for those who are ambitious. Your growth makes the strong feel itchy. Come quickly. Lousy is looking forward to meeting you. This person is named Rox, and he is also the big pirate who has captured almost all the strong pirates in the old era on a single ship. The purpose is to achieve world domination. For this reason, he created the Rox pirates, which were feared in the old days. Sudden. Rox tilted his head to look at the empty sea. His eyes froze. At this moment, black lightning burst out from the body. Conqueror's Hockey immediately radiates out to sea. Here. A pirate ship on the sea, the Liard Pirates. A reward of 500 million. A reward of 700 million. Kazan, Shiki, what did the 2 brothers do? Marine actually valued them so much. 2 arrest warrants are tied together. Hiss. What a shocking bounty. On the deck, the captain of the Liard Pirates, Shui Te, held a newspaper and reported. Newgate, these 2 guys have surpassed you. Do you have any idea? The blonde-haired Newgate sat by the railing, propped his chin with one hand, looked at a small sesame seed-sized island in the distance, and said, Goo, I don't care. I thought you had some opinions on such a strong man. Gu la 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 la. Newgate smiled and said nothing. And at this time, as Captain Shui Te said, his body shook suddenly and he began to foam at the mouth. All the crew members around him also fainted at this moment. And Newgate's eyes changed instantly. He looked at the guardrail that burst suddenly, and looked at Kojima again. Yes, it came from there. Immediately, Edward Newgate immediately carried Kong Yunki. The huge body suddenly burst out with energy and rushed towards the island. In this regard, the strong men of the era began to meet gradually. Boom, New World. A certain sea area. A pirate ship wanders the sea. Long bread. This is what it feels like to be a pirate. Well, then tell me, what should be Linlin's goal after becoming a pirate? Linlin, of course, he became such a surprising figure. Oh. This surprise. How to do it? Well. Of course, like these two guys. Let Marine be afraid first. Charlotte Linlin, who is only 12 years old, is recalling a conversation with the head chef 5 years ago. Then the loaf was thrown to Charlotte Linlin and Zhang Tong for arrest. Now. Tall, slightly fat, with no growth at all, Charlotte Linlin, who has a childlike temperament, holds 3 Zhang Tong arrest warrants and sticks them on her face with an intoxicated look. Gourmet night. Long bread. This guy, Kazan, he's up again. In the next second, Charlotte Linlin laughed loudly. A wave of conquerors raged violently at the captain in an instant. No doubt. The Kazan brothers' arrest warrant is like a gust of wind that suddenly rages. It is blowing people to their proper positions in advance. The buds of the pirate era broke out unknowingly. See, stir up. New world, an island. In a laboratory with various test tubes. The owner, Bakingome Stussy, threw the newly developed potion to the ground angrily. The liquid medicine instantly reacted with the floor, and a burst of green smoke came out. Damn. Failed again. My youth is imminent. Give me some time. The actual age of Stussy is only 16 now. But as a beauty-loving lady, I have long had the awareness of maintenance. She is also a science enthusiast, and her scientific research direction focuses on the research of drugs for eternal youth. There is no doubt that the experiment failed. Mad. At this time, Stussy had soft and slightly curly gold short hair, a slender figure with just the right bumps, and combined with that beautiful face, his temperament was completely exploded. The beauty reflected in the test tube made Stussy himself feel jealous.
Oh, woo, it's so beautiful. Listen to me, I won't allow you to age any longer, okay?
If Kazan saw it, he would never imagine it. The ugly old woman Ba Jin in the later generations actually had such a fairy face when she was young. But what? The sea is like that. People on the sailing road have been hit by all kinds of extreme weather and warm, salty and humid sea breeze for many years. Everyone's skin has already planted irreversible seeds of decay. So, for many people, there is a huge difference between old age and youth. Stussy looked aside at Brother Kazan's wanted poster, whispering to himself, who will give me the truth? The sea corrupts everything. Where there is time for antidote, is it also in the sea? Otherwise, why would so many people rush to the sea? New World, the Peony Pirates. The pirate ship is sailing slowly on the sea surface. Report. My Lady Empress, we have collected a new reward order. A woman with a strong figure and wearing very little cloth ran towards the interior of the cabin holding 2 arrest warrants. The Peony Pirates are very special, they are a team composed entirely of women. Let this ship become a real pile of women on the sea. Because these women all came out of the Amazon Lily. There, too, are only women. Amazon Lily is located in the calm belt in the first half of the Grand Line, but because there are a lot of groundwater resources between the main island and several sub-islands, this is kinetic energy. When the groundwater gushes out crazily, it will let the air and ocean currents in a small area have generated circulation. Looking at the whole world, such geographical conditions are absolutely rare. At this moment, the Peony Pirates came to New World from the first half of the Grand Line. And their captain is the next designated successor of the Amazon Kingdom. Shiki, Empress. Although there is no succession, the status has always been there. Shiki is a woman of astonishing beauty. She has short black hair, smooth and flat forehead, deep black eyes as deep as black pearls, slender and delicate corners of the eyes, almond-shaped eyes revealing a little coldness, high nose bridge, soft lips without a trace of wrinkle. Moreover, coupled with the queen's air she has accumulated for a long time, she is so young that she has no desires. Such a woman can definitely be called a dazzling black pearl on the sea. Shiki was raised as a leader of the Empress, and she has been exposed to a wide range of knowledge. As a leader, she is very good at coordinating and analyzing the situation. As a part of the sea, the arrest warrant contains a lot of hidden information. Yeah, it's them again, Shiki said. The female swordsman nodded. Yes, my lord, their bounty changes so frequently. Also, that, Kazan, he is so beautiful, woo, so beautiful. Hearing this, Shiki was ashamed. Can a man be described as beautiful? Hey, Amazon's geographical location has caused the national thinking to be too closed, and the adjectives are not right. That's handsome. It seems that sailing is still very important. Without this experience, the Amazon Lily National Games would have come to a standstill. There must be something strange in it. Shiki looked at the wanted notice, and his thoughts gradually unfolded. She knew that some time ago, the news that Marine's super newcomer Sengoku Garp, a joint attack, went viral in the underground intelligence station. All the pirates in New World trembled. But according to the information at this stage, the two were in the nearby waters, and they were picked up by Marine Admiral in disgrace. I originally thought that I would use intelligence to avoid encountering those two madmen. It seems that they first encountered a huge change. It seems that the peony pirates are safe. The bounties of the two brothers Kazan and Shiki are changing so quickly, and the time update is consistent with Garp Sengoku's return trip. So, does this have anything to do with you? Is the head worth 740 million berry? What a curious man. Boom. Bang bang. In the cabin, Shiki on the throne of the Empress suddenly heard bursts of gunfire from outside the ship. When we came to the deck, all the female warriors on the deck were majestic and ready for battle. Draw a knife and knock an arrow, ready to fight. My lord, we are attacked by a group of pirates. Waiting for orders from adults at any time. Shiki looked around and saw a sailing ship flying the pirate flag, and the artillery on the deck was constantly spraying flames. Boom boom boom. Seeing the pirate icon, Sha Ya immediately ordered, "That's Ochaku's pirate group. The captain is a big pirate with over 100 million Baileys. All on alert, start fighting." Although Amazon Lily is closed to the outside world, there are hockey training methods on the island, which is ancestral. In addition, there are powerful creatures on the sub-island, so the island has been cultivating female warriors who can use hockey flexibly since ancient times. Seen as a group of women, their strength is really not weak. And perhaps the island has been populated by women since ancient times, with delicate minds. The hockey cultivation method has been optimized for hundreds of years, and the hockey of Amazon Lily is constantly developing in the direction of better and more refined. I saw an archer attaching hockey directly to the arrow. Arrow tip. It turns black instantly. Call out. In the next moment, the off-string arrow instantly nailed Ochaku's pirate ship. Boom. In the next second, the hull of the ship exploded to create a big hole with a width of 1 meter. The Ochaku pirates. Captain Ochaku looked at the hole in the hull and pinched his beard in a moment of displeasure. Roared. What are the shells for? Don't save lousy money. Boom hard. Who do you think I am? Bring the boat to me. At the same time, high in the air, it's so hard to sharpen a knife. Hockey is too violent. Damn it. If you tame it into a sheep, this lion will eat them. Shiki, who was sitting on his muku, let out bursts of complaints. And with the continuous sound of gunfire, the two brothers, who were worrying about quenching their knives, looked down following the sound of gunfire. Woohoo. I finally saw the boat, finally saw other living people. Shiki rubbed his hands immediately. Brother, tisk tisk, a ship is broken. How about we grab another one? Since the two brothers lost their warship on Gale Island, they have been relying on their famous swords as their boats all the way, and they also slept on top of the famous swords. The skies suddenly became their bedroom. Such a narrow resting environment naturally made my brother yell that he couldn't stand it, and everyone was a bit haggard. But until today, I finally ran into a boat with the soles of my feet. Ready to grab it now? Certainly. You have to pick the right ones. There are boats and there are beds. This is the nautical life. Kazan laughed. Let's go. Shiki. Ho ho ho. It's all women. Brothers, give lousy a shot. When the two pirate ships approached, they saw that the Xiaoyao pirates were full of women. The pirates on the Ochaku pirate ship are completely excited. All the pirates in the cabin rushed to the deck, ready to feast their eyes. What is a woman? Baby of the sea. In order to improve their combat power, most of the pirates are male members. They burn, kill and loot on the sea every day. Happy street economy. At this time, see the other party's pirate flag. Ochaku couldn't help showing a hint of evil. Because the peony pirates have become more and more famous in New World recently, information has also come out. Its crew is not only made up entirely of women. Its captain, Shiki, is even more stunning in the ocean. No, there are already rumors in the sea. Shiki, a woman as beautiful as a black pearl. Someone is willing to exchange 100 million berries for her location information, and even 500 million berries for the chance to tie Shiki to the bed. Thinking of this, Ochaku laughed loudly. Hahala, absolute son. Lousy is lucky. Little ones, follow Lousy, good luck tonight. Ochaku commanded. Blow up their boat to Lousy. Lousy wants to see the beauties playing in the water. Boom boom boom. And the peony pirates. Around the hull, countless explosions caused shocking water splashes. The crash made the whole sea restless. All female warriors standing on deck. Shiki included, all frowning slightly. Not because the vocabulary of the Ochaku pirates is ugly. That's the way the sea is, and to be honest, it's polite to say hello with dirty words. Rather, the scale of the Ochaku pirates is so big that it makes people feel dizzy. Who would have thought? On that dilapidated ship, there were 700 or 800 rough men. Densely packed, crowding the entire deck like stinky rats. On the mast, a rope stretched down, hanging like a bunch of candied haws. The whole pirate ship is shaking. Hiss. Too many people. If it's the same number of people, or if the difference in the number of people is not big, Shiki will naturally not worry. Relying on himself and Amazon Lily's female warrior, he will definitely have an advantage. But the opponent is this scale. Its captain is also the great pirate of 180 million berry, Ochaku. Don't think about it, there is no chance of winning. That's it. Pinching his fingers, Shaki's beautiful eyes trembled slightly, and he could only order unwillingly. Adjust the rudder, escape. Yes. The female warriors also realized the seriousness of the matter and immediately adjusted the sails. And just at this moment, a strong wind blows head on. The 9-snake Xiaoyao, which was originally preparing to attack, was immediately blown by the strong wind at an incredible speed. Back hundreds of meters. Hurrah! The wind whizzed past. The female warriors of the peony pirates looked flustered and their long hair fluttered. What's going on? It makes people a little unsteady. And after the wind stopped, Shiki was shocked. What happened to this ship? However, she immediately reacted and ordered hastily, take advantage of this good opportunity and run away. Nuko. Lime. Come out and pull the boat. Because Amazon Lily is on the comm belt, the boats are pulled by snakes. Now the New World Sea area is windy, so naturally they don't need to be tired, so 2 snakes called Nuko and Lime sleep and rest on the bottom of the boat. And just when the swimming snake wanted to emerge from the bottom of the sea, a faint voice came down from the air, don't move. Looking up, Shiki immediately saw 2 gold figures descending slowly. And the one who took the lead had just seen the man on the arrest warrant, Kazan. And his brother Shiki. Hiss, how come? Kazan. Shaki's scalp tingled instantly, and his heart was pounding. In fact, when he saw Kazan on the arrest warrant, Shiki thought he was handsome, curious, or looked at this man with an inexplicable vision. After all, the opponent is so strong. Let Marine be so afraid. If the two of you have nothing to do with each other, and it's none of your business, then you can eat melons easily. But when this man actually arrived on his boat, there is undoubtedly only one emotion left in Shaki's heart, fear. A man worth 740 million Baileys. How can this kind of person be a good stubble? What kind of personality is it? Will it be cruel? It must be cruel. The bounty seems to have explained everything. Wow. Beautiful, he's Kazan. A female warrior has peach blossoms in her eyes and whispers to herself. Shiki. The higher the bounty, the crueler the man. What good is appearance? Shiki knew his power was still too weak. You can't touch a super pirate like Kazan at all. Since the opponent has the ability to fly, he has already arrived at the Xiaoyao snake. There is no other way. We can only wait and see what happens. Shiki took a long breath to calm himself down, and ordered to the female warriors, don't act rashly. And at this time, Kazan and Shiki also descended onto the deck one after another. There were 2 footsteps, very crisp. When the touch came, Xiaoyao instantly knew that the quality of this boat was good. Although at high altitude, he knew that the boat was full of women. But Kazan wasn't a priority either, because the pirate group in front had already fired cannons while catching up. Boom boom boom, the shells exploded in the sea. Blowing this ship away with the wind yourself is not for you to destroy. You will be bombarded. It's my boat. At the moment, Kazan raised his hand slightly. On the surface of the sea ahead, a gust of wind blew up instantly, and 4 roaring sharks poked their heads out from the bottom of the sea. The waves are crashing loudly. If you look closely, there seems to be a ghostly wind wrapped on the shark's skin. Boom boom boom. Sharks are getting taller and bigger. Back and forth, left and right. 4 roaring sea sharks fabricated by seawater acted impressively. Instantly surrounded the Ochaku pirates tightly. Seeing this scene, Shiki and the other female warriors instantly showed horror and stood there dumbfounded. Comm belt, where can I see such a sight? This. Woo. What kind of power is it? Could it be that this is the strength of 700 million men? It was the shocking sea shark that took the lead. As the Empress, Shiki couldn't help but marvel in her heart. Is this the strength of 740 million Pele men? There is no doubt that Shaki's mentality had changed the moment Kazan raised the whale shark. From absolute fear, a sense of security subtly emerged. Now, Any fool can see it. This is a warning. And it's the Ochaku pirates who warn the enemy. Kazan, is he protecting our peony pirates? Shiki nibbled on his unwrinkled lips. The eyelashes fluttered slightly, and the beautiful eyes opened slightly, looking at the back of that gold. Although Kazan and Shiki are brothers, from the back, they both have gold's long hair covering the entire back, but the appearance of the back is similar. However, it feels completely different. Shiki stood with one foot on the guardrail, glaring at the front, still cursing, behaving roughly haughty. What about Kazan? Perhaps it was reading all the year round that caused him to move slightly and stand gracefully, showing a gentle and refined temperament. It is the two completely different visual senses. But do the exact opposite. The impact is still great. It wasn't Shiki, the irascible person who made the move, but the gentle and refined Kazan. In Shaki's eyes, Kazan suddenly floated up from the Xiaoyao 9 snakes, and floated to the surface of the sea without delay, at a height equal to the fence of the two ships. In a short time, the whole person was standing in front of the Xiaoyao 9 snake's hull. As he approached, the distance grew farther. But the female warrior of Amazon Lily has gradually increased her sense of security. This man is standing up for us. Yes, he is definitely standing up for himself. Thinking that before Kazan came, the entire pirate group had recognized the situation and fled timidly. And now it's a man fighting back for himself. The hearts of the female warriors were pounding. This feeling is the first time since going to sea. For the first time, being taken care of by a man. And on Kazan's side, there are actually not so many ideas. The reason why he raised the whale shark was to protect his boat. The rising whale shark did not fall down because there was treasure on the boat ahead. As long as the pirate has a good attitude, he will obediently offer up the treasure. You can get the forgiveness of brother Kazan. It's been this way all the way. The two brothers, Shiki, did the same. Pirates, they can't be killed. If you cannot fight against the enemy, why waste your efforts? Base. And at this time, seeing that the opposing pirate group did not respond, Kazan put his left hand on the first-generation Onitoru at his waist, and drew out the knife with his right hand. Rub. As the first-generation ghost was unsheathed, a swimming dragon hovered above the blade, and the cold light shone even brighter under the boost of the wind dragon. Moment. The sea changed drastically, and the 4 sea sharks roared at this moment. Ho ho, ho ho, first-generation goosh. In addition to the ability of non-stick, it can also act as a sensor of fruit ability. In the previous life, Whitebeard was able to gather the shockwave into Kong Yunki, and the blade was swung out like a fist. Kazan's first-generation Ghost Toru can also do it. Beside Garp, the Fangfeng fruit floats out of thin air because the first-generation Goosh touched the Fangfeng fruit. Otherwise, how can we snatch the most disastrous fruit in history from Garp? Roar. This is the last warning. Otherwise, treasure is not worth mentioning. Different from the mentality of the Xiaoyao pirates, the pirates on the Ochaku pirates were trembling with fear at the moment. Many pirates' legs are already hot and humid, and the deck is full of smell. Maid, who has seen such a big battle? The 4 sea sharks were like ocean hunters, staring at everyone on board. Seawater dripped from every sharp tooth, like waterfalls of blood. The 4 heads formed an absolute encirclement net, with no way out. This picture made many members of the Ochaku pirates frightened to pee. Those pirates on the mast. He was so frightened that his arms became weak, like heavy rain pouring into the crowd on the deck. Big brother, what shall we do? Horror, he is Kazan of 740 million Pele. Ah. This time we are dead. It's terrible. A pirate looked at the wanted notice, his legs trembling uncontrollably. Ochaku was completely dumbfounded. Originally, chasing the Xiaoyao pirates was a good idea, but I never thought that Kazan would be on board. If you do it, isn't it just asking for trouble? Who is Kazan? He is a strong man who only has a bounty and no information about his strength. I don't know the depth. This kind of person is very frightening to others. But to be honest, even if he is surrounded by 4 sea sharks, even if the opponent is Kazan whose bounty is several times higher than his own, Ochaku is personally worried, but he is definitely not the kind of person who has no fighting spirit and just wants to run away. Even if the scene is changed, he may also choose to fight with all his might. Pirates have a temper. For his own strength, Ochaku is still very confident. Even if the opponent has the magical devil fruit ability, even if the opponent's bounty is as high as 740 million berry. He knew that his bounty was low because he did few things. And the reason why Ochaku dare not move now, even fear. It's all because of the whole pirate group. This is what Ochaku spent several years, finally gathered more than 700 people, and established it with great pains. The pirate group is the captain's pirates. more than half of the casualties were bitten. For the pirates, this is a traumatic event. He didn't kill himself, but it was no different from killing himself, the captain. Facing such an impenetrable encirclement net, Ochaku considered for a long time, and finally made a cruel decision. Brothers, there are all of them, follow me. Don't panic. We are the Ochaku pirates. Victory is on our side. The next moment, in the distance Shiki, under the witness of all the female warriors of the peony pirates. A wonderful scene happened suddenly. I see. A man slashed his sword and immediately stood in the sky. 3 points and 1 line, like a god of war, standing between the two pirate groups. Not far from the hostile Ochaku pirates. All the pirates came to the deck and made worship gestures in unison. Soon, the sound of the same landslide and tsunami came. Brother, we were wrong. Brother, let us go. Brother, please, big brother, please spare me. The sound waves came layer by layer, and Amazon Lily's female warrior was completely confused. Is this still the group of pirates who are aggressive and bombarded by artillery? Why, in the face of one person, you are so cowardly? Seeing this scene, Shaki's heart finally relaxed, and he looked at the man on the sea again. Immediately, Hangdao retreated thousands of troops. That's all. What's more, he didn't do anything. Shaki returned to his original curiosity and let out a long sigh of relief. The peony pirates are safe. The sea is vast. Those who know the current affairs are Junji and Junji. Ochaku understands this deeply. Pirates are not about burning, killing and looting, but about understanding the world. Since the other party only issued warnings and did not attack, he was not the kind-hearted pirate with a bad temper. Things are negotiable. Everyone is messing around in the sea of New World, looking down and not seeing each other. Peace brings money. Harmony can make money. Ha ha. If you are coerced, if you encounter a desperate situation from which you cannot escape. Pirates too. It's a thief. But you must also learn to be a man. This is to respect the life given by the sea. God avoid me or not. Even 3 billion pirates are not enough for a single blow. Facing the wave of confession from landslides and tsunamis, Kazan has no intention of continuing to press. But it's just the beginning. If the group of pirates behind have a bad attitude and don't cooperate, well, sorry. No matter how good the attitude is now, it is still a death. Still, let Shiki finish the work. Pat, ding. With Kazan's famous knife sheath. In an instant, the 4 sea shark statues were summoned, collapsed instantly, and dived into the bottom of the sea. Rumble. A huge amount of seawater scattered. The impact caused the Ochaku pirate ship to sink and sway violently. Huh. We are finally safe. Thank you, brother, for your mercy. Thank you, big brother, for your noble hand. The pirates of the Ochaku pirates breathed a long sigh of relief. Some pirates remember to eat but not to fight, and even celebrate. Kazan ignored this. He came to the Xiaoyao snake without looking back. Shiki. Kazan's voice fell. Here we come. Shiki rubbed his hands together, understanding. 2 brothers. 2 gold figures, exchanged roles. Go back to the deck. For the first time, Kazan took a look at the women on board. This ship is my own after all. How to tell them this fact? And look around. There are about 25 women on it, all of whom are heroic in appearance and have extraordinary temperament and appearance. Most are the taller warrior types. There are also a few beauties with long legs who look like models and conform to Kazan's modern aesthetics. Pirate world. A lot of beauties. As long as you look at it with an appreciative eye, you can still find unexpected beauty. As a scholar, Kazan has developed a unique vision. Who is beautiful and who is average, he can tell at a glance. And he is very tolerant. Beauty, of course, regardless of background. And among these women, the woman in front of her who is biting her white teeth and wearing the most luxurious clothes stands out the most. On the premise that her appearance is already amazing. His body shape, clothing, appearance, and eyebrows all reveal a haki that cannot be hidden. Did Conqueror's haki bring it? A thought came to Kazan's mind. Unlike the one Kazan had before, the Tian Yueshui hadn't fully grown yet. Tian Yueshui belongs to the best of the ladies. This woman in front of me is more like a born king. That faint temperament is not enough. Strangeness. Who is this man? But seriously, it's still too early in the timeline. Many people in the plot are decades younger, and in front of Shaki. Kazan is both strange and familiar. While Kazan was thinking, the surrounding Amazon Lily warriors all looked at Kazan curiously. Hang Dao's aura of repelling thousands of troops immediately has already made many girls worship him. Facing more than 700 people, the Ochaku big pirate picture. When the man raised his hand, he was so frightened that he threw up his helmet and armor, and almost kowtowed to admit his mistake. So beautiful. So sassy. For Kazan, who had saved her life, the female warrior couldn't help but blushed slightly and whispered. So beautiful. This man is so beautiful. It's as stunning as the Empress. His name seems to be Kazan, Lord Kazan. After all, Shiki is an empress with extraordinary bearing. For now, Kazan in front of him didn't seem to have any plans to attack him. In order to prevent new accidents from happening, or reduce the chance of accidents, all the people on board have to make an attitude. Shiki is very talented in knowing people and things, and the Kazan in front of him, from the fact that he just dealt with the Ochaku pirates, can see that he is not an ordinary pirate. For a person with such a personality, the best way is to be so good that he is embarrassed to do it. After thinking it over, Shiki clapped his hands lightly. Soon, a row of female warriors helped carry the tables and chairs, and placed fresh fruits on the table. A temporary reception desk has been built. It has to be said that Shiki is the heir to the Empress after all. Even as a pirate sailing hard on the sea, the specifications, etiquette, requirements, and cards of the living conditions on board are quite sufficient. In voyages, the most common fruit is oranges, because oranges are easy to preserve and can also cure sepsis. Be a nautical medicine. And those grapes, bananas, and unnamed fruits that are not easy to preserve and expensive. It is a big drag on sailing, and almost all pirate groups will not always have it. But at this moment, there was a table full of them. My Lord Empress. Shiki nodded and invited Kazan to sit down. Empress? This appellation. Kazan asked thoughtfully, your name? Shiki. Kazan couldn't help but his heart skipped a beat. He never imagined that he would meet the young Shiki here, matching all the female warriors on board, and their daughter country costumes. Kazan reconfirmed that the woman in front of her was the Empress of the Amazon Kingdom. In his cognition, the later Shiki is an intelligence expert and a know-it-all. In the early days, he was a person on the Rocks ship, and later he was the lord of a daughter country. Can such a woman be simple? This Shiki has great mining potential. At the same time, Shiki, who is young now, looks a bit different from when he was old. This made Kazan unable to react for a while, but if you think about it, you can understand that Shiki was cute when he was a child. As a result, now, the skeleton is surprised, and the ocean is a master. Sha Ya glanced around. Amazon Lily from Combelt? You actually know? Shiki was curious again. The information on the members of the Peony Pirates is no longer a secret. But Amazon Lily is a closed country, and the foundation of the country is concealment. What this country needs most is tranquility. Those who go out to sail will not reveal the source. Seen by Kazan at a glance, he couldn't help being surprised. I have been, in my dream, too. Shiki was surprised. No way. Has he really been to my country? How come I have no impression? The man in front of him was about the same age as himself, and he had never seen it before. Men land on Amazon lilies, which haven't happened in hundreds of years. Shiki is again the heir to the king. Knowing that this kind of thing is bigger than the sky. In the misty conversation, the two are like old acquaintances, but also like strangers. During the conversation, both of them couldn't help but be attracted by Shiki, who was shouting arrogantly in the distance. Jia ha 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 ha. Now. Shiki's gold figure floats above the deck of the Ochaku pirates. He found that the deck was crowded with people and the stench was suffocating. The living environment is like a kennel. Forget it, brother asked me to do business. Shiki quickly drew Sakura Tenkaku. Point to the crowd below and speak. Jia ha 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 ha. You bastards. Okay, don't pray. What a trouble. Hand over all the treasures to my uncle. The voice fell. The pirates on the Ochaku pirates are in complete disarray. What? We all sincerely admit our mistakes. Calling you big brother is to respect you. You actually call us cowards. Push the nose on the face. Still here to grab the treasure? Pirates regard treasure as life. What is the purpose of floating on the sea? Of course it is an endless treasure. This blonde man actually asked the brothers to hand over the treasure? What is the difference between the hatred of taking one's wife and killing one's father and enemy? Yaya. Might as well go straight to it, but Ochaku is the captain of the entire pirate group. Insight is definitely different from others. In the past, my own team robbed others. The brothers on board have never experienced the feeling of being robbed. So very proud. Calling you big brother is enough sincerity. But this time the situation was different. On the sea, against the strange abilities of the Kazan brothers, Ochaku knew he had no chance and could not escape. If on the island, two groups of pirates encounter such a thing, Definitely have to bump into each other to tell the strength of one from the other. But now, it doesn't fit. Pirates must have a principle in doing things. If you snatch something from me, you must be prepared to be bidden off. But now, it is on the ocean, and the other side is absolutely dominant. You don't have to pay for anything. No doubt. This is not in line with the rules of revenge for pirates. You can't pay the other party at all. You just wanted to get along with him in one breath? Stupid. The other party is definitely not a good stubble. Didn't you see that both knives were drawn out? The tone is flamboyant and provocative. His eyes are full of murderous intent. If you don't hand over the treasure, things will definitely get out of hand. Come here, bring up all the treasures, to Brother Kazan. Just treat it as my Ochaku's meeting gift. Ochaku was unwilling, but he still spoke with grace. The sea. You rob me, I rob you, treasures take turns. Now that Captain Ochaku has spoken, the other pirates had nothing to say. Soon, 3 huge treasure chests were brought up. Open. The pirates trembled. This big brother. You see. Shiki glanced over. Tisk tisk tisk, only about 30 million berry. Very general. Then in the pained eyes of the Ochaku pirates. In the adoring eyes of Amazon Lily Warrior. Tick tick. 3 treasure chests fell on the deck. Floating came to Kazan. Kazan didn't even glance at the treasure chest. And over there. Shiki has turned his head and is leaving the Ochaku pirates. Sudden. He thought that it was the first time he met a New World pirate. What if you don't try your hand? I'm curious as to whether the New World pirates are strong or not. Shiki pointed at Ochaku with Sakura. Is your name Ochaku? How much is the bounty? Forehead. You don't know me, Ochaku. No matter what, I am the #1 pirate in this sea area. Don't you want to lose face? You're not a bounty hunter, so what if I tell you? Ochaku paused, and there was a hint of arrogance in his mouth. My name is Ochaku, the captain of the Ochaku pirates, and the bounty is 180 million berry, but I haven't troubled too many marines, so the bounty is a little lower. Not as good as you two brothers. So, you are strong. Play with me. A smirk formed on the corner of Shiki's mouth. Play with you. Ochaku looked confused. What do you mean? Pirates are a group of lunatics who don't get up early. Look down and see you. Now that you have taken the treasure, everyone can get together and leave. What else to play? Shiki didn't pay attention, and pointed directly at the 700 pirates on the deck, pointing to the sea on one side, and said, You guys, jump into the sea. Lousy wants to compete with your captain, let me. Pirates, you look at me, and I look at you. Look at the deep sea next to you. Sharks appeared in the sea just now. What if you jump down? Seeing the pirates peering at each other, they were unmoved. Shiki got angry immediately. Boom, black thunder fell instantly. A wave of conquerors' haki spread out, sweeping the Ochaku pirates in an instant. Because Kazan said to him, the early conquerors' haki is a sharp weapon for Qing Zhaobing. Moment. On the Ochaku pirate group, each pirate foamed at the mouth and fell directly. Some pirates squeezed on the fence fell into the sea with a clatter. Clatter. It may be that entering the water made people sober, and the pirates began to howl on the sea. However, pirates, basically, they are all water-based, so they can only be pulled innocently at the bottom of the boat. Black and dense, splashing water, floating on the sea. The scene is very spectacular. Boom, hum. Here. In the Peony Pirates, some female warriors suddenly became dizzy. Ouch, Daodeo's beautiful figure is stumbling around. Yo-yo. On the deck, weak voices echoed. If there is a gentleman, he will definitely help him every day. As for Empress Shaki, at the moment when conquerors hit, her eyebrows were slightly widened, and her heart was so shocked that it couldn't be more shocking. Shiki in front of you, it turned out to be the same as myself. He is an emperor who has the aptitude of being a king, who is 1 in a million. 2 of the rules for the heir of the Amazon Lily Empress are, beauty and conquerors. Shaki naturally owns conquerors, she could have imagined it all. Kazan. He is the absolute leader between the 2 brothers. Didn't you see that Shiki would give priority to his big brother after snatching the last treasure? Shiki's behavior has said it all. He respects his big brother very much. Shaki collected himself and turned his head slightly to look to the side. I saw Kazan's face was indifferent, as if nothing had happened. This. No way. He is the emperor among the emperors who are unique in a million. Are you also a conqueror's haki awakener? Shaki's eyes were full of surprise, seeing Kazan nodded for confirmation. Completely in shock. The Amazon Lily is very special. In each generation, there will be, and only one conqueror's awakened will appear. And this person will eventually become the center of national love and become the emperor of a country. Did not expect. the two brothers in front of me are actually emperors. With shock, Shiki no longer has the heart to watch Shiki and Ochaku fight. Time passed quickly. Shiki gave Ochaku a lesson as it should. Now, in the sea, fluctuating with the spray, a rough man's head with a bruised nose and a swollen face popped out. Vomit. Ochaku spat out the salty, choking seawater. Looking at the sky full of shock. This Shiki is so strong, so he's big brother. Hiss, shocked. Ochaku didn't dare to think about it any further. With a nervous expression, he took his own remnant. Desperately disappeared from everyone's sight. The deck of the peony snake. In the welcome of a group of female warriors looking up to a hero, Shiki returned to the ship with pride. Cut. Vulnerable. Is this the new world pirate? That's all. See Shiki back. Kazan stood up and dabbed casually on the treasure chest. 3 huge treasure chests mysteriously disappeared in full view. The stolen treasure, no matter how big or small, Kazan will check afterwards. Maybe there is something mysterious and good. In the past, it was Shiki who robbed Wanokuni Liangyue family of a bunch of junk, so that he could get first-generation goosh. If not paying attention then, under the time difference, first-generation Onaitoru has become a plaything in the hands of 5 elders. So face all treasure, Kazan is no slouch. However, his operation, the surrounding female warrior even screamed, "Wow, so amazing." Then, Shaki, it's time to talk about our affairs. After the words fell, the man in front of him stood up. Shaki was stunned by the invisible momentum. Is this his true state? When Kazan boarded the ship, Shaki was dominated by a fearful thought and had no intention of thinking about other things. After Kazan stopped the Ochaku pirates, Shaki felt saved and felt a sense of security in his heart. And now, the man was blunt about getting down to business. Smiling, Shaki finally discovered that extraordinary momentum. This man is not kind. He came to his own ship with a strong purpose. Shaki, who wanted to understand, couldn't help but tremble in his heart. The sea. Sure enough, there is no good person. What are you going to do? Shaki tried to calm himself. Kazan smiled warmly. We 2 brothers don't have a boat, so. No. This ship is the foundation of our foothold. Hearing the other party mention the boat, Shaki immediately refused without thinking. The sea is vast, how can we do without a boat? Moreover, the peony snake was brought out by Amazon, which contains the shipbuilding technology of the daughter country. If the ship is lost now, everyone in the pirate group will not be able to pass through the calm belt. If you can't go back to the country, everyone will become refugees in the sea. Hearing that the Empress refused, the surrounding female warriors were immediately on edge, and many of them were ready to fight. Kazan signaled to relax, and said helplessly, "You misunderstood, our brothers are going to the Grand Line Paradise, the capital of the 7 waters, to build our own pirate ship, so I want to go with you, and there is no harm in going to the capital of the 7 waters. What do you mean?" But what? Kazan touches up a bit here. His primary purpose is to get gold from Sky Island, and then the capital of 7 waters. Anyway, first trick people to the first half of the Grand Line. For Shaki, Kazan actually paid attention to it in his heart. After all, Shaki was the first character in the pirate camp that he met. Moreover, it is still a ruthless character. Sooner or later, the 2 brothers will have to build their own power. There will be all kinds of people in the future. As strong as Hawkeye, he can't play alone, and in the end he was incorporated by Mr. Buggy. So, for Kazan, Shaki's excellent intelligence capabilities. It can be regarded as an important piece of the jigsaw puzzle for one's own power. Of course, Kazan doesn't force it. If you need to force a woman, it can only show that you are not attractive enough. But at least some action is needed for now. You can't help but fight for it, right? In addition, the 2 brothers have been sailing along the way, either practicing swords on a warship, or sleeping on a famous sword. To be honest, it is very boring and tasteless, feeling unattended and lacking in love. I saw so many beautiful girls today. All of them are capable of cooking, eye-catching, and serving people. What's wrong with me enjoying it? Shaki, are you not a pirate? Pirates should bear the corresponding consequences when they come out to mess around. Moreover, Kazan's original purpose was really to grab the ship. Now I have given you the option of traveling. I love you enough. If you don't want to, you can't blame the 2 brothers for destroying flowers with their hands. It is worth mentioning that Kazan has long known that sailing in the sea is full of surprises, adventure, and loneliness. But he didn't bring Wanakuna's Tianyuishue with him. It is because Tianyuishue is the eldest lady of the Tianyue family and the heir of the Wanokuni daimyo family. As for Wanokuni, who owns rare ores such as wine iron ore and seastone, Kazan will take it sooner or later, and it is just too early now. The deed has already been issued. When the time comes, Tian Yushui will naturally become a key figure. Your own woman, you can pick her up and be by your side anytime. And here. Shiki heard Kazan say this, and finally understood his purpose. But, my Lord Empress, we finally sailed to the new world. There was a trace of unwillingness in the female warrior's tone. Yes. Sailing on the Grand Line is exhausting and long. I often encounter extreme weather. In order to cope, I don't sleep all day and all night. Shiki is also hesitating, trying to calculate in his mind. Judge whether this man has room for negotiation. As the female warrior said, if you go back to the first half of the Grand Line, you have to go back and forth to New World. Such a voyage will take at least a whole year for the peony pirates, and the process is still very difficult. In order to send people to the capital of water. Is it worth the price? Shiki still said. May I pay for a new boat for you, so that you can? But the voice has not completely fallen. I saw Kazan first generation ghosting through the scabbard, stomping slightly on the deck. The floating imprint is directly applied. In the next second, the entire Xiaoyao snake floated directly. The sound of splashing water fell. The breeze blew in my ears. Ah. Why did the ship fly? No. I'm so scared. I'm afraid of heights. Woohoo. Who did it? It's scary. Accompanied by the tender screams of the female warriors. Shiki is full of shock. In a blink of an eye. The Xiaoyao snake number 1 rose from the ground and reached thousands of meters in the sky. Sigh. The wind blows the sails, heading for a destination. It's worth saying. Because Fenglong is the passive fruit of Fengfeng, and also the master of all winds. During the voyage, whether encountering tornadoes or other wild winds, Kazan's boat is like an emperor crossing the border, and the wild winds on both sides will bow and give way. So, under the blowing of the wind dragon, Kazan's boat is going in a straight line. Slow? Impossible. And, will there be extreme weather? It rains? Got a thundercloud? If the wind blows, it will disperse. Even, if the sun is big, you can also blow a piece of dark clouds over, and give me a cloudy day. See? Surface. 2 swimming snakes popped out their heads and stuck out their tongues. Nucor. Cece. What's the matter with the swelling, the boat to be pulled? Lime. Hiss, don't make it. We are orphans. Grand Line, New World, an island. Boom. Buzz buzz. With a sudden sound of collapse. The roaring waves of the sea stopped abruptly. Edward Newgate. Join me. Lousy is going to take you to conquer the world. Ha 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 ha. Rox laughed wildly and sheathed the knife. If Kazan is in, you will be able to discover the extraordinariness of the Rox saber. Because this is already a black knife that has been tempered successfully. And in front of Rox, there are signs of battle damage everywhere. In a pothole. The smoke cleared. The Kong Yunchi held by Edward Newgate plunged into the ground. There was thick sweat on his forehead. This later generation is called Edward Newgate, the strongest man in the world. At this time, blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. After all, a person has only one heart. Only by continuously increasing the number of beatings, constantly beating, and never stopping beating, will it beat stronger and stronger until one day it stops beating and becomes the legendary of the sea. Characters of the present era. Going crazy in this direction. Rox D. Zebek. The man called the most evil man by Marine is as strong as the rumors say. But Lousy is not interested in conquering the world. Edward Newgate gritted his teeth. The corner of Rox's mouth outlines a circle. Follow me, you will gradually become interested. Looking into the distance. Rox said, negotiate with me, Rox, there is no room for negotiation. Bah. Hearing this, Newgate turned his head and spit out a mouthful of blood foam on the ground. I can go with you, but I must take my companion with me. Companion? Ha 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 ha, of course the companion must be strong. Newgate. Rox twitched his lips, you can't take those people away. A few minutes later, Edward Newgate had a trace of loneliness on his face. Back to the island alone. As Rox said, Newgate can't take away the people it used to be. After all the members of the Liard pirates were stunned by conquerors, those weak pirates had already been deeply branded as weak in their hearts, and lost the courage to explore further. Now, when they heard the news of Edward Newgate's defeat, they naturally flinched. As strong as Newgate, he can respect them both on the outside and inside, and doesn't even care about the strength of the Liard pirates, and is willing to accompany the weak Captain Shuite. However, when you need them, you can't take them with you. Now, it seems that everything is gone. It doesn't matter. Anyway, since I came all the way from the Sphinx, didn't I come here all the time? But what? People are like tides, they will be constantly pushed away by the sea. One day, it will reach the other shore. Soon, two figures stood on the warship. Sail away to the distance. That's it. Rox D. Zebek, the legendary pirate who is ambitious and determined to become the world's hegemon, recruited the first crew member, Edward Newgate. The Rox pirates turned on the mode of stirring up the wind and clouds. The first half of the Grand Line, Paradise. The waters near Alabasta. The sea is sparkling and the sun is very good. A voice came from the dilapidated small pirate ship. The loud sound scared the surrounding seabirds to fly to higher places to escape. Oh. Rayleigh, lend me the knife for fun. Ya ha 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 ha. Facing the figure in the black shirt, he rushed forward. Silver Rayleigh stood up decisively and immediately tore Gore D. Rogers' mouth. Bastard. This is my ancestral Griffin. What kind of onion are you? Go away. Roger grinned into AD. I just want to see. HMPH. Rayleigh threw Roger aside. Didn't you say you want to subvert this world together? After all, it's been 3 months since I went to sea. Why are you still on the small broken boat I stole, and you still beat me with a knife? Don't make up your own mind. Roger. Roger let out a big smile, helped his straw hat, and pointed to the vast sea in front of him. Oh. I've decided, then we'll go there next stop. Maybe there's nothing there. Rayleigh rolled his eyes. This is the recently formed Roger Pirates. There are currently only 2 members. But for these 2 people, it only took 3 months. Just use a small broken boat that can't be smaller, and travel through wind and rain to the Grand Line. The sea cannot stop people from exploring. Instead, accommodate them as much as possible and carry them. Only. If you want to gain a foothold in the sea, you must first bear the temper of the sea. Rumble. Hoo, it's over. We've got another storm. Roger tilted his head. Rayleigh, is the boat okay? Rayleigh. What away again, Roger? New world, high altitude. The 3 of them stood on the deck of the Xiaoyao snake. Shiki crossed his arms and looked majestic. Looking at the surprised female warriors in front of me, I kept complaining in my heart. Isn't it just high altitude? Is it strange? Look at you. You have never seen the world. Snort. And Kazan rested his right hand on the first-generation Onitsu, staring ahead, not knowing what was going on in his mind. Shaki to his right. But he pinched his fingers behind his back and fell into a deep numbness. Because, Shaki really never thought about it. My own Xiaoyao snake will be able to sail in the sky one day. Smooth. High speed. Magic. Incredible. This kind of dream scene has never appeared even in a dream. And the man next to him. Simply. It is so mysterious that it cannot be described in words. Kazan. What else can't be done? The Amazon Lily warrior on the deck finally calmed down at this moment, from taking off suddenly, to gradually adapting, and then to full of consternation. And when you really see the scenery in the sky, just like a child entering the playground, everything that happened before seems to be unimportant, the sound of joy, curiosity, and exclamation. There is an endless stream of voices. Soon, the moonlight shines on the sea. It's nighttime. Under the bright light, Kazan came to his room. He didn't snatch the right to use the ship, didn't think about occupying the queen's bed, and didn't explain too many things to Shaki. The card just asked her to arrange 2 common rooms. One for myself and one for Shiki. I have to say, the ship used by the Amazon Lily Emperor. It's not huge, but it's well designed. Various details inside the hull reveal exquisite decoration. Plus this ship has lived with women. There was a fragrance in the air. Well, let me see. Among the looted treasures, can you draw some rewards? Kazan waved his palm. 3 treasure chests about 1.6 meters wide and 1.2 meters high appeared and fell on the floor. Then, the glittering gold and silver utensils floated up one after another. In an instant, ups and downs filled the room. Master Kazan is really too strong. Have you mastered armament hockey in a few days? Listening to the noisy girls in his ears, Shiki's scalp tingled. He turned his head and said angrily, "It's so noisy, you stupid women. Can you shut your mouth for grandpa? Have to say. There are pros and cons to sailing with a bunch of women. After sailing for a week, Shiki has a deep understanding. Although these Amazon Lily warriors can cook, wash clothes, sing and dance, they are very good, life is so nourishing. But the novelty wears off after a few days. This group of women is so annoying. Brothers used to go to sea. The big brother is reading, and the younger brother is practicing swordsmanship, quietly and attentively. But now, as long as the 2 brothers appear on the deck, they will be surrounded by pairs of inexplicable eyes. Have they never seen the world? What a bunch of stupid women. However, after talking with the Empress Shaki, Kazan got the hockey practice Heart Sutra from the Daughter Kingdom. Now, Shiki has refined armament hockey through the hockey practice method of Daughter Kingdom. The violent armed color has been tamed into a sheep. In other words, now the two brothers have officially entered the step of quenching the knife. Next, as time goes by, the famous knife can be tempered into a black knife. Rub, ding ding. With the sound of two knives being sheathed, today's practice of tempering knives is completed. The surrounding female warrior began to speak. Master Shiki, let us see your miraculous fluttering ability again. Master Kazan. The eyes of the female warriors were full of admiration, and there was a hint of pleading in their tone. Shiki said impatiently, it's so annoying, bring me a glass of water. Yes. The female warrior left with full expectation. Soon, as Shiki plunged a finger into the water. Under Shiki's operation, the water mass floated and turned into a small lion in an instant. The lion was lively, rolling back and forth in Shiki's palm, bleating and roaring. Fluttering controls the object. The smaller the object, the more vivid it is. Look. I am a fluttering person, I can float everything and create anything. Received the ability. Shiki, have you finished reading? Are you satisfied? The female warrior obviously had more to say, and Lord Kazan. Kazan is also helpless. Considering that the warrior of the daughter country comes from a closed country after all, and is full of curiosity about new things, she still follows their wishes. Above the deck, Kazan holds one hand. A green whirlwind appeared on the ground immediately. In the next second it turned into a wind mass. Twist and turn. In a blink of an eye, it turned into a terrifying and strange creature. This creature made up of storms was crawling on the deck, with only half of its head exposed. It's like waiting for an opportunity. There are sharp horns on its head, its 4 eyes are shining with faint green light, its teeth are like knives, arranged in random order, and it bites everything into pieces. It regards the deck as a swimming pool and swims on it, like a shark but not a shark. It seems to be waiting for the prey all the time, and once found, it will pounce and bite. Ooh-hoo. What's this? Master Kazan's is the coolest. At this moment, female warrior Chi-Chi's eyes lit up. Master Kazan really has something good on him. Seeing this creature, Shiki's eyes also lit up. She is no less curious than the female warrior on board. Brother, what is this? This. Kazan recalled. You can call it evil god Barash. Barish. A ghost. Evil gods Horaxu is the 7th ghost of the Devil May Cry profession in the online game DNF. It is the awakening skill of the full-time ghost swordsman after Devil May Cry. The attack method is to jump out from the ground and bite the enemy. As a former DNF player, Kazan thinks that the image of Brash fits perfectly with lion fruit's earth coiling and sea scrolls. After getting the lion fruit, create it in this direction. Sea scrolls and whale sharks can be regarded as the early stage of creating Barasho. Amidst all the exclamations, the matter came to an end. On this day, the Xiaoyao snake has arrived at the first half of the Grand Line. Shiki called Kazan over. Prepare to discuss things after arriving in the capital of 7 waters. It's almost time for the two to part ways, and Kazan, because the last time he sorted out the treasures of the Ochaku pirates, he found a treasure engraved with encrypted words like secret words, so he is also interested in talking to Shiki, who has excellent intelligence capabilities. What if it is a huge treasure? And Kazan came in. It was filled with a peculiar aroma. This is a high-grade spice exclusive to the Empress, a specialty of Jew Snake Island, and it smells refreshing. Soon. Shiki arranged for Kazan to sit down. Before Shiki could speak first, Kazan took the lead in asking about the treasure information, but Shiki said that those were encrypted texts, and it would take time to decrypt them and more information support would be needed. No way, just don't be in a hurry. Then, Kazan noticed a map hanging on the wall next to the table. There are several islands drawn on it, and an X is drawn somewhere between the islands. Is there a treasure? What is this place? Facing Kazan's question, Shiki explained with worry in his eyes. This is the map of our Amazon lily. Our kingdom needs groundwater to drive small ocean currents to form the climate. In recent years, it has been detected that our groundwater resources are gradually drying up. The marked location is like a gate, which will drain the kinetic energy of ocean currents. Lose. Our country is going to set up an artificial barrier here. It can make the ocean current form a closed loop, and even if there is no strong groundwater in the future, it can also make the Amazon lily form a stable weather. Otherwise, the Amazon lily will gradually become unsuitable for the people to live in after 100 years. Listen to Shiki's explanation. Kazan is thoughtful. Isn't it the same as Mahjong 3 missing 1, missing a vacant seat? Thought it was a treasure, Kazan subconsciously said. It's very simple, just move an island to bed, isn't it good? Huh? Shaki was surprised. Moving the island? Kazan, you really dare to think about it. In fact, this is a large-scale project of Amazon Lily, a century-old plan that will affect the country's fortunes. Not to mention the waste of people and money, it will even require generations of people to work hard and spend hundreds of years. The result is not necessarily able to do it. But for the living environment of future generations, Amazon has bet on the fate of the country, otherwise, the whole kingdom can only be forced to relocate. Could it be? But if it's you, our Shu Ying should be able to do it. Shaki suddenly thought that Kazan could make the ship fly, and it seemed possible to move an island. Can't help looking excited. Kazan casually Kaido. I can do it. Lion fruit starts. The first step. Touch, which is equivalent to stamping. The second step. Imprint scans the touched object. If it is rootless, it can float at any time. The third step. If not, the imprint scan will become an invisible big hand, invisible net bag. If the ability user can grab the object, it can turn it into a rootless thing, and then float. In One Piece. Uprooting a mountain and throwing it out of bounds. Piao Piao ability users also have the grip of floating imprints, and a fulcrum can lift the entire earth, grab an island, and it becomes a possibility. Now that Piao Piao's ability has been developed, the two brothers are still a little bit behind. Hearing this, Shaki was completely shocked and still puzzled. This. Can you really do it? If it can be done, this is the existence that Amazon Lily all people will be grateful for. If this thing is done, Kazan will be the savior of the daughter country. Only. Unlike Shaki's excitement, Kazan doesn't seem to want to continue. Are you looking for me? Shaki is going to take it slow and think long-term. But I already have a plan to make friends with Kazan in my heart. Shaki raised the current question. Afterwards, will you keep your promise? It means after the capital of 7 waters, let you go? Of course, the two of us, brothers, just don't want to bother to find another boat. Since we won't hurt you now, we won't in the future. If there's nothing wrong, I'll leave first. After speaking, Kazan was not interested either. Can you tell me about your ship? Kazan questioned. Are you interested in boats? Shaki didn't know why he asked this. Suddenly didn't want Kazan to go. After thinking about it, Kazan simply said, I plan to go to Sky Island to carry my own gold, and then go to the capital of water to build a pirate ship. As for the ship, let's see the craftsman's design. Of course, the ship will be used for a while. I will move a huge island later, and then build a huge kingdom driven by wind on it, a huge kingdom that can sail the whole world. With the fruit of the wind, the possibility of the island becoming a ship is established. Boats are fine. Why not floating Sky Island? At that time, it will not only be the pirate group, but scattered all over the floating island, city-states, small branches, and palaces will be built on it, gradually building a huge kingdom. A huge air empire. What a great ambition. That's right. After all, he has the wealth of an emperor. Hearing this, Shaki couldn't help but secretly thought. After all, Shaki is also the lord of the empire. In order to improve the national fortune of Amazon Lily, she chose to go sailing. She also had ideas and prospects for her own kingdom. But she never thought that the kingdom would actually exist in the sky. That's high ambition. Shaki is here at the moment. I actually had a strong sense of the picture for the huge kingdom that Kazan said. A huge island in the sky, with people on it, able to fly to any place in the world to take root. There are city-states, streets, palaces, hiss. Can't help but envy. Even adore. Such a grand plan is worthy of the emperor who is loved by the people. The emperor of a country should be like this. A simple shipbuilding plan by Kazan sends Shaki into a deep shock. Even her personality was completely conquered, and her heart was beating chaotically. Seeing that Shaki was stunned, he didn't intend to talk. Kazan is leaving again. The matter has been done, and he doesn't want to stay here to waste time. I'm leaving if there's nothing to do, but... Looking at Kazan with an impatient face, 10,000 thoughts popped up in Shaki's mind. Why is this man such an asshole? Just piqued my interest. He actually proposed to leave again. He didn't even want to stay for a moment for himself? Am I really that bad? And the moment when these thoughts arise, Shaki's heart suddenly started pounding. The chaotic rhythm is like a snakeskin drum being hammered by 100 people. Suddenly dense. Sudden restlessness. One by one, pink heart-shaped bubbles, like sticking to the skin of the heart, kept popping out from the atrium in thousands. My heart is like 10,000 ants crawling. Itchy. Very numb. Also at this moment, Shaki's expression was terrified, and his expression was completely flustered. This is... lovesickness? Wait, I actually have a terminal illness in daughter country. Lovesickness. This terminal illness actually came to my heart at this moment. Amazon Lily has recorded that lovesickness is a unique disease in the daughter country, and it will not happen in general, but once you get lovesickness, if you can't solve it, you will only die in the end. Lovesickness can be mild or severe, and the severity of the disease depends entirely on the potential of the conqueror's hockey of the lovesick object. The higher the conqueror's potential of the other party, the more severe the initial symptoms. In the worst case, lovesickness patients will die within the same day as soon as they get sick. Just because of Kazan? Am I suffering from lovesickness? Will die for him in the future. Realizing this, Shaki's heartbeat was completely frantic. She looked at Kazan and Shendu began to change, gradually developing towards an inexplicable situation, and the next moment, she felt a sharp pain in her heart. What happened? It happened so fast. Still so fierce? His conqueror's hockey potential turned out to be. Who the hell is he? Woo, Shaki groaned softly, and was about to fall down in pain. Cover your heart. Relying on the table to barely stand firm, the soul felt a heavy blow. What's wrong with you? Looking at the uncomfortable Shaki, Kazan couldn't bear to ask. I'm fine, you don't have to worry about me. Go away. Shaki's heart was pierced like a knife, and he said loudly with restraint. You have a big temper. Never mind. Kazan left here inexplicably. At night, the air is clean. Under the moon sky, the entire Xiaoyao snake was in complete chaos. Footsteps, surprise, worry, filled with the entire pirate group. Because Shaki, the Empress of Amazon Lily, is critically ill. Ship doctor. Lord Kazan, help me, please, come help me. After a burst of nervous knocking on the door, Kazan also looked confused when he saw that it was the ship's doctor. The ship doctor was so nervous that he knelt down at this moment. With her explanation, Zan finally understood. It turned out that Shaki suffered from lovesickness in the daughter country. And it's so serious that it's about to die. According to past life memories, Boa Hancock, as the pirate queen, also suffered from lovesickness after being shocked by Luffy with hockey, and it seems that she still doesn't think about food or tea. And Shaki. It seems to be so serious that he will die of illness tonight? F*K. What's the situation? How can there be such a serious lovesickness in the world? Peony Snake. On the deck, a brand new red carpet has been laid at this moment, and Kazan comes out of the cabin. On both sides of the red carpet, there were 2 rows of female warriors kneeling neatly. Among them, the senior ship doctor came to the dazed Kazan, and said with a hint of neighing in his tone, Woo, Master Kazan. My Lord Empress, she is sick, she called your name in her dream. On behalf of all the people of the Amazon Lily, I ask Lord Kazan to help the Empress. We Amazon Lily cannot live without the Empress, huh? The sound of pleading reached Kazan's ears, and the scene of the crowd sobbing made people feel distressed. Although human life is at stake, what does it matter to me? Do you want to save her by calling my name? I don't have the strength to heal, you know. You are the ship's doctor. As the ship doctor continued to explain, Kazan got a piece of good news. My conqueror's hockey potential has soared to ultimate. As expected of a system, the entry potential is so high. Can't help but let Kazan have more expectations for the future. Kazan. Then tell me, how can I save her? The Empress is so heartbroken that she is in a coma, and she is about to die, so I can only ask Kazan to have sex with her tonight. The ship doctor was already crying and explained. Kazan. It's finally here. The one in front of you is Gaia Island. After 1.5 months, the Xiaoyao snake finally arrived at the paradise, Gaia Island. Gaia Island is located in the waters near Alabasta. 400 years ago, half of Gaia Island was washed up into the sky by the nearby ocean currents, and that area became part of the entire Sky Island. Sky Island is not marked on any maps, nor does it have a magnetic pointer to guide it. To find Sky Island, Gaia Island is the only coordinate. Although the voyage of the paradise is more about using the magnetic pointer to walk on several routes. But permanent pointers are also widely used, just not suitable for pirates. Also said about the Peony Pirates, it was an amazing adventure. The sailboat that can fly in the air can go through their half-year voyage in just over a month. The whole process is smooth, fast, safe and funny. This kind of sailing experience is undoubtedly a beautiful enjoyment. Refreshed the 3 views of Amazon Lily's female warrior. The sailing conditions are equivalent to replacing a coal car with a high-speed rail. At this time, the 2 brothers, together with Shaki, stood at the bow of the boat, with the sea breeze blowing in their faces. Overlooking the islands in the distance. Like the teeth of a skeleton. Kazan. Does Sky Island really exist? Shaki snuggled to the side and asked curiously. It's incredible. Today's Shaki, Lovesickness has been cured by Kazan, and at the same time he has been tidied up. Kazan said. Yes, we can see Sky Island 10,000 meters up. Knowledgeable man. Shiki grew appreciative. Shiki, you come here. Here we come, brother. Soon, Sky Island, above the clouds. Standing in front of the golden clock, Kazan, Shiki, and Shaki all had surprise on their faces. The scenery in front of me is really good. Stand tall. See far. Feel refreshed. Below them, the female warriors began to move, and began to collect the gold left by history. And Kazan went under the golden bell and put his hand on the text of history. Call out. Flutter ability activates. The main text of history slowly floated up, and then was put down. The historical text can float normally, why can't the black text? With doubts, Kazan chose not to take the historical text away. Nor did he take the golden bell away. In the eyes of scholars, gold is gold, and cultural relics are cultural relics. Only when cultural relics are placed in their proper place can they show their value. Boom, clang clang clang, clang clang clang. Kazan didn't have any doubts, he rang the golden bell directly, he wanted to hear the voice of history. The dull and melodious sound of the bell vibrates in the air. The echo waves spread layer by layer and lasted for a long time. Residents of Sky Island and Guy Island couldn't help but look up at this moment, their eyes full of shock. The golden bell really exists. It turns out that the golden bell in Legendary is in the sky. The ancestors did not lie. This is the sound of gold. Many people on Guy Island have already burst into tears, looking up, tears are rushing down. On the streets of Guy Island, Roger and Rayleigh, who were caught in a storm, drifted to Guy Island and were bothering how to find a new boat. At this moment, they couldn't help but look up. Rayleigh, Sky Island really exists. Ah, right in the sky. We're going to go up someday, right? Ah, it should be. Roger. At this time, the golden bell stopped. The voice of the system also suddenly sounded in Kazan's mind. Ding. It is detected that the host has contacted the historical relic that knocked on the local world, and the experience value is plus 200,000. Reward a new entry. Treasure hunting radar. Reward talent entry. Listen to everything. Treasure hunting radar. The radar automatically scans everything within a perfect circle with a radius of 500 meters around the host. If there are precious treasures, the host will be notified by the system. The treasures found will be fed back to the host with a certain amount of fortune according to their value. Is there a reward for ringing the golden bell? It seems that we will do more things related to history in the future. Treasure radar? A spherical radius of 500 meters? Seeing this award, Kazan was not disappointed. Because the detection range of 1,000 meters is already very large. And what really surprised Kazan was, finally got a way to get fortune value. It used to be based on luck, but now you can get it on your own initiative. The difference is huge. As for listening to everything, it seems that Roger has such a gift, and can hear the dialogue of the Sea Kings. This ability will be tested later. Immediately, Kazan and others went down to the ground of Shandora. I saw that the female warriors worked together and walked out of the ruins one after another, with pieces of gold on their hands and shoulders, and the ground was already piled up like a hill. Today's era. Enel hadn't even been born yet, nor had he built his golden ship motto. Residents of Sky Island don't understand the value of gold, and almost no one moves all the gold. Get rich. Brother. How much is this worth? It was the first time seeing so much gold. Shiki was a little stunned. Walking to the front, I couldn't help picking it up and looking at it carefully. Soon, he found a shiny golden helmet among the gold piles. Putting the helmet on his head, Shiki said proudly, "Brother, glittering gold, look at my rudder helmet. This king's helmet. I want it. Kazan. How the hell would you choose? This rudder helmet is more fierce than a green hat." Kazan. Shiki, this is not fun, isn't it pretty? Kazan directly pulled out the first-generation Onitsu, and split the rudder helmet in half with a single blow. Shiki scratched his head, not knowing why. Shaki was even more stunned. Because these are far more golden than the Amazon Lily Empire all year round. No, even more than 10 years of national income. Amazon Lily also has foreign trade, but it is done very covertly, so that outsiders are not aware of its identity. A commercial system is also formed internally. This amount of gold is really amazing. Hiss. Boom. Suddenly, accompanied by a rumbling sound, an ice blue Sky Island python suddenly appeared in front of everyone. It had 2 beards on its head and white hair on its abdomen. The snake's head was as big as a house and 180 meters long. Hiss. Asshole human, get out of Shandora. Ah. The appearance of the big snake on Sky Island frightened the warrior of Amazon Lily. Amazon is also considered the country of snakes, but I have never seen such a big one. Is this world really so magical? Isn't this the Sky Island Orochi? At this moment, Kazan could actually hear its voice. Immediately, a wave of conquerors rushed out, directly scaring the Sky Island serpent. Then, Kazan tried and said, "Climb over, otherwise I'll kill you." The Sky Island snake was stunned. What did I hear? Look at that look, the aura, it is really possible to kill me. This human is strong. Hiss, human, are you talking to me? Come here, one last warning. Don't kill me, I'll come. No way, the Sky Island giant snake, coerced by Kazan's strength, swam over. And Kazan was overjoyed, he didn't expect listening to the voice of all things to be so useful. In the eyes of the crowd, Kazan directly ordered the Sky Island snake to open its mouth and stick out its tongue as a step, and then sent a team of female warriors to drill into the snake's belly to find the treasure. But there is a lot of gold eaten by this 300-year-old snake. Kazan naturally won't let it go. Shiki was surprised. Brother, when can you order a snake? It's a snake. Shaki admired. What a magical man, the snake of the Amazon Lily, he will also be conquered by him. The gold in Shandora has been packed, and the initial estimate is worth about 12 billion berry. Definitely a great harvest. Gold is common money, so Kazan doesn't get any fortune. So Kazan and others came to the next stop, Burka. Burka is a small sky island in the south of Sky Island. Ask for directions, and you can reach it easily. This is also the hometown of Enel, which was finally destroyed. With the help of the treasure hunting radar, Kazan is going to try his luck to see if he can touch the Logia thunderfruit, which is called invincibility. Because of the presence of radar, Kazan didn't call Shiki and the others to come and help, because the efficiency was not high. Now, Kazan flies in the sky at an altitude of 50 meters, and his radar range reaches 500 meters. If you start a carpet-like flight, every corner of Burka, whether there is a baby in the air, on the ground, or underground, can also get a system prompt. This skill is simply a magical skill for robbery in the future. You can find out if there are any good things in other pirate groups. After about half an hour of flight, an electronic beep finally sounded in Kazan's ear. And a transparent screen appeared in front of his eyes. The red dot above coincides with the blue dot representing myself. Found it. Right below me. Soon, Kazan descends to the ground. It was found that there was only one layer of mossy blue stone bricks. Try to fiddle with the radar panel, the 3D three-dimensional circular map, and start to flip. The red dot is below the center of the heart circle. That treasure is located tens of meters underground. After a few minutes, Kazan finally found a crevice. When I walked in, I saw that it was an underground entrance. And when entering, Kazan was shocked by the scene in front of him. I saw that this is a secret laboratory. It seems to have been abandoned for a long time. The overall size of a football field is about 10 meters high, and there are some instruments and equipment inside, glass, special metal, and the appearance looks like technology from the moon. These things are the equipment on the Ark Proverbs. These two are glass balls that can communicate with lightning. The world of pirates also includes the civilization of the moon, which is called the Infinite Land, and there are robots that eat electricity. In the end, the Infinite Land also became the endpoint of Enel. Enel used these technologies to go to the moon with Thunderfruit? There is no doubt that these instruments are of great value. Strictly speaking, the Ark is the first purely electric-driven spaceship in the pirate world, and it can also travel between stars. The technology contained in it is a dimensionality reduction blow to other pirate ships. It's like the era of horse-drawn carriages meets the age of electricity. And if these things are allowed to be studied by genius scientists like Vegapunk, it may become something that benefits all mankind, and it is even easier to create an energy city. I looked around. Kazan found an equipment box on the test bench. He found that the starting point of the treasure hunting radar was launched from there. Open. What came into view was a pile of design drawings. After opening it again, Kazan finally saw a blue devil fruit surrounded by lightning patterns. Ding. Host contact detected. Logia thunderfruit. Fortune value +25. Host contact detected. Lunar Science and Technology Handbook. Fortune value +30. Current total fortune, 55 points. The fortune value rewarded by this technology handbook actually rewarded 30 experimental points. Thunderfruit is not as much. Thinking about rewards is conditioned on the fact that the better the thing, the more rewards. It can be seen that these design drawings are very valuable. Kazan didn't stop there. He was a scholar, not a scientist, and he couldn't understand these explanatory drawings containing technology, but he knew that every page of the technology handbook here would play a huge role in the future. After putting everything away, Kazan left the secret laboratory. Boom. The peony snake landed from the air to the harbor of Gaia Island. The female warriors have worked hard to carry the gold, and now they are finally done. So Kazan wants them to relax, do some shopping. Woman. Spend whatever you want. As a result, the entire port was full of onlookers as soon as person number 28 got off the ship. Ah. I saw their ships come down from the sky with my own eyes. They must be the ones who ring the golden bell. Can you tell me? Does the golden bell really exist? So, Wendula Roland is not talking big. Yes, it must be so. Shandora was originally an ancient city on Gaia Island, known as the Land of Gold. It is said that in ancient times, it was closely related to various countries. A lot of gold was transported from a distant warrior country. But as hundreds of years passed, the Golden Town gradually became a lie that could no longer be refuted. As a result, many local residents on the island who insist on believing in history have doubts about their place of survival, suspecting that their ancestors lied to others, saying that it is a golden town, why there is no gold. Now, as Shandora's golden bell strikes, the sound seems to awaken the memory in the genes. Some kind of strange connection, connected by a bell. Facing the eager eyes of the crowd, Kazan could only laugh and said, yes, the golden land of Shandora really exists, just above the sky. There is a golden clock built by your ancestors all their lives. As soon as the words fell, the crowd immediately became agitated. No need, no more, this sentence is enough. Seeing that Kazan intends to enter the town, the surrounding people gave way to the sound of discussion. Now, Kazan is in the middle, Brother Shiki is on the left, and Empress Shaki is on the right. Followed by a pair of Amazon Lily female warriors. In Magic Valley Town on Gaia Island, such a team rarely appeared, and the momentum was huge. And just outside the crowd, Kazan saw two familiar figures. A man in a straw hat, black shirt, and off-white jeans. Gordy. Roger. And beside him, the one with the big back and blonde hair. Silver Rayleigh. The two of them encountered a storm a month ago and drifted to Gaia Island. The boat stolen by Rayleigh was destroyed. Now the two of them, except for a backpack, are worrying about how to find a new boat. I saw Kazan and others riding a luxurious pirate ship accompanied by beautiful women. Roger straightened up his straw hat and quickly grinned. Rayleigh, this is how a pirate should be. Ah, Roger. Did you see the knife in the middleman's hand? It's a precious knife. Are you crazy, Roger? Rayleigh held the military flagon, glanced at the young women in Kazan's ranks, and took a sip. Although both of them have the ambition to disrupt the world, it is undeniable that they are also small thieves who have just set out to sea. They have no experience in sailing in the future, and their domineering spirit has not been honed to such a sharp point.